This is PJ Cavaya, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. See you at the rink soon.
Well, here we are, GT. State Wars Hockey Podcast, episode number 7. We say it every week. I can't believe it's another episode, GT.
Yeah, we're cruising right along, Tim. 3 new guests today. You know, last week was really good, and I'm looking forward to this one as well. Got three good guys. We got Joey DiMartino from Long Island, New York. We got Dan Costanza from Chicago, Illinois, and our friend Matt Cholesky from Michigan. So should be a good one today. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, 3 great guests from 3 different parts of the country. Joey D, as you mentioned, the Magic Mullet. He's from Long Island, New York, from both where we're from. So we know him a long time. And, Danny Costanza, another old-time friend, someone you played with way back in the day on Team USA. We'll get into a lot of that. Who reemerged about 5 years ago back into the sport with his kids, which was great to see in Illinois. Mm-hmm. And then Matt Cholesky, our buddy in Michigan, who it's nice having a guy on the broadcast older than me because there's not many of us left. So be great to have our old buddy Matty on here as well. So yeah, like you said, 3 great guests from all different parts, all different walks of life, and it's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, 3 different ages as well. So is Matt our oldest guest so far? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I would say Matt has to be. Yeah, I think he's older than CJ. CJ's
younger than him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm older than CJ, so yeah. Matt's a young 60-year-old or whatever he's at right now. We'll find out his age when he gets on here. He ages like fine wine, so that's one of those questions. You never know how old Matt Cholesky is. Maybe we'll get to the bottom of that during his interview. So how you been hanging in there? Things are still going here with this darn quarantine. So what have you been up to lately? We haven't seen each other much other than on Zooms. So what's going on at the homestead?
Yeah, same old. I know we were talking about it before, but the Blue Angels were cruising around Long Island and New York today. So I didn't hear them. I think they're actually just ending right about now, but I didn't catch them, didn't hear them at all. I'm not sure if you did on your end of the islands, but I didn't see them. So we're just kind of hanging here. Amy had her school parade today for the kids in her class. So she just got home not too long ago. And I've been watching the Michael Jordan documentary. So that's been
we talked about that the other day, The Last Dance.
Yeah, Last Dance. So I watched 3 and 4 this morning as we were prepping for the pod today, and it's been really good.
It's a good way to get yourself pumped up for your games or your sport. You just watch Michael Jordan for a while, right? Just the intensity. We play with a buddy of ours, Charlie, on our ice hockey team, who's always yelling at everyone and whatnot. And I think of that when I'm watching that, just that guy that's constantly getting on everyone and just so intense and, screaming and hollering all game long. Yeah. That's it. That's what I envision with Michael Jordan, just that guy, just relentless on the players on his team, because obviously no one's going to be as good as him. Mm-hmm. And I think the great ones not only raise the bar so high, but they just expect everyone else to be great like them. And to some, it's just not as natural, obviously.
Yeah. He was something else. And Dennis Rodman, man, is, my Lord. Yeah, he really is.
How about those Detroit Piston teams, though? I mean, those teams are vicious.
Yeah.
I think one of them said during it's like playing hockey out here. They were just out to bang. And maybe we'll talk to Matt a little bit. He's a Detroit boy.
Yep.
He was a Pistons fan. He probably was.
Joe Dumars was on that team, I think, too.
Yeah, Joe Dumars, we'll talk about Dumars Fieldhouse. That's a good intro there, GT.
Yep.
Joe Dumars is on that team.
Yeah. Rodman with Carmen Electra, and, he dated some pretty good-looking women. Madonna, yeah. He was out there, man. I think he kind of still is.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely a face made for radio, not for a podcast like this. But he wasn't hurting in the woman department, that's for sure.
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff though, and MJ is great. He's so intense. Love it.
He's got a little belly on him these days in his interviews. I was noticing that last night. Like, I don't think MJ. I don't know if he get up as high as he used to right now. He looked like he put on a few lbs.
Yeah, they said he used to burn so many calories running up and down the court. I don't think he's really doing that anymore. He's probably drinking his. Doesn't he have a whiskey? I think he owns a whiskey company.
Yeah, he's always had a little glass next to him, glass
Yeah.
half full next to him all the time
Yep,
during the show. So let me ask you, GT, are you much of a vitamin guy?
Vitamin?
Yeah.
I actually just took one. I took a multi-day vitamin. Yeah. And
I'm
I've been
also
taking some
torn.
calcium too.
Yeah, I'm always torn. I just ordered the other day. I just got in the other day the elderberry
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
gummies. So
Yep.
some zinc in it, immunity system, all this stuff going on that would try to get your mind racing, what you should be taking, what you should be doing better for your body. And so I ordered some the other day, the chewables, the gummies. Pretty awful tasting actually, but throw it out there, do the multivitamin like you. But you never know I don't know what people at home think, but I can never think, a vitamin's just a big scam,
Mm-hmm.
Do they work or whatnot? At least when you take an aspirin, that I got rid of my headache or I didn't. Did it work or it didn't? Vitamins,
Yeah.
who the heck knows, right?
You don't know. Amy swears by the elderberry. She
Oh, really?
loves it. Yeah, she's been taking it forever, and she's a teacher, so she takes it during the school year, and she claims that she rarely gets sick. Being around all the kids all day, and she's been taking that elderberry for quite some time now. There's drops, they have the chewables, they have it all, but yeah, I've had it before as well. I actually just ran out like 2 weeks ago. I haven't been able to get some more, but she swears by it. So,
Maybe you plant a couple elderberry trees in the yard.
yeah, right.
The trees you took down, you got to plant something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's funny because all this immunity stuff. We've been doing the right thing during this whole quarantine. Our family, we haven't even left the house since March 13th. I think was the last day we left the house. It's kind of like those prison movies. We kind of mark on the wall like what day it is, an X to see how long it's been.
Yeah.
And we haven't gone anywhere other than around the neighborhood or whatnot. But haven't been around friends or family. And you just start wondering now, like, is it better to be around some people a little bit, because now you start worrying about when we actually start getting out there a little bit, which will hopefully be pretty soon. You're more susceptible to maybe get sick or something because you haven't even been around anything to build up any sort of immunity at all. And I know my parents are worried about that a little bit because they've stayed home, and my dad reads something that says, I'm going to get sick because I haven't been around anyone. And now I want to go out suddenly. And, it's kind of like the old school thought of, kids today are so overprotected by their parents, they can't touch a piece of dirt, or they can't, drink anything that someone else touched or whatnot. And kids are always getting sick or whatnot. So I always believe you need a little dirt on it to make yourself stronger. So I'm starting to second guess our so strict stay-at-home situation here. I don't know what way to think, because every day I feel like you read something different and you get different information every day.
Yeah, I really don't know what the answer is, Tim. I hear so much from different people. I know you sent an article to me, I think it was this morning, right? Or last night. About that. Yeah. So, I mean, me personally, I've been going out to the grocery stores. We've had our parents over for like a fire at night. But we do socially distance. But just to kind of do something, kind of on the line there with hanging. But yeah, it's getting old. I just don't know what the answer is, and hopefully everything will open up pretty soon. I know some states are opening up, nail salons and some restaurants here and there. I think down in Georgia and some other states. But New York will probably be last to open.
As long as Michigan opens, for State Wars this summer, we've been getting actually some teams have been starting to register the last few days. People getting excited, talking about it. People are starting to feel a little bit more confident, and things in their states opening up and whatnot. So, we're going to obviously keep our fingers crossed, still have that glass half full mentality. Hence our production company with this podcast, So without further ado, let's get the mullet man, Joey D, on here. I know he's waiting patiently to get on, and, he's kind of a quiet guy. His brother PJ is a little bit more outspoken than Joey. So see if we get him to let his hair down a little bit today and have some fun with him.
Let's mullet down.
All right, so let's bring Joey in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Cavalla, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. See you at the rink soon.
All right, we're back here on SWH podcast. We got our buddy from Bohemia, New York, the Magic Mullet Man himself, Joey DiMartino. What's going on, Joe?
What's up, guys? How's it
What's
going?
up, Joe? Hair's looking good today, bud.
Thanks, Greg. Took a fresh shower before. Feeling good.
So you
Atta
cleaned
boy.
up the room a little bit. You got your closet looking all pretty, your sweaters and sweatshirts look pretty neat in there. You got the plaques hanging up. I'm sure
Yep.
Mama Dukes helped you out a little bit today, set that room up for the podcast.
Yeah. Gotta keep it looking nice.
That's right. So how you handling this whole quarantine? You've been staying home mainly? What do you got going on in your world right now? Homeschool classes for college, I'm sure. What's going on?
Oh yeah, I got a Zoom class every 2 days a week. That's really it. The other ones are just through email and like a few assignments here and there. But otherwise, I just try to be outside and just do whatever. Skate around, get some hockey in the driveway or whatever. Whatever I really want, whenever it's nice out. Just try to keep busy with anything.
Today's finally nice here in Long Island. It's been pretty crappy the last couple of days. So hopefully
Yeah.
you guys enjoyed the morning, or later tonight you get a little skating,
Yeah, I'll probably go out later.
Yeah, at my house, when the weather is nice, it's a whole different atmosphere here. When it's raining out, like it's been the last few days, everyone's stuck in the house. The kids all want to kill each other. My wife wants to kill them. I want to kill them. They want to kill me. And it's a mess. So it's nice on a day like today when everyone can just get outside, burn off some energy, play some soccer in the yard, shoot some hoops, go for a ride, go skating, do something. But the weather makes a world of difference. That's why I'm real jealous of the people that live in Florida or some of the warmer weather places that could be outside every day.
Yeah, of course.
That's for sure. Joe, before we get going, I got a question for you. Now, who's this Francesca girl that you posted on your Instagram? Is that your girlfriend or what?
No, I wish. I don't even know who she is, but she's a famous girl on Instagram. Just wanted to share it with the fans. She's
Is that too hot to handle, Francesca?
No, different one. She's a blonde, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found her on there, followed her. I was like, yeah, this girl's very hot. Gotta share it with the world.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you should slide into her DMs, Joe.
Yeah, I got that request from a few of my friends.
All right, so Joe, let's talk a little bit about State Wars. So, your first year, 2006, was our second year of the tournament. We started in 2005. You came out in 2006.
Oh boy.
You played with the New York 97 team that year. You played up 2 years. You were probably a foot shorter than everyone there. And you did pretty good. You had 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points in the 4-round robin games playing up 2 years. And here's a picture of the team. You guys finished in 3rd place that year for the bronze medal. See some Saraceni right below you right there who's still playing hockey. And some other Thomas Hahn on the far right, who was a sniper as a young kid. And you guys had lost to a really tough Colorado team that year in 97, who was probably the cream of the crop team back then. Troy Terry, who's now playing with the Anaheim Ducks, played on that team. Just to throw a name out there. AJ Vanderbeck, who was a stud 97. And then the next, that's another picture from that year. Obviously looked like a baby there. And then the next year, 2007, you came back again, playing in your own age group and with the 98s, but you also played for a team tour 99, who was our mixed team that year. And Johnny Mosenson from New York actually coached you that year. And you were the high scorer of the division that year as a 99. And obviously we knew right away great things were on the horizon for you. Just you came out of the womb dominating, it seems like. So what do these old pictures mean to you when you see them? To bring back some good memories?
Oh yeah, for sure. I look at that last picture you just had up. I actually look at it every day. I have the poster framed in my room. So yeah, I don't know if you want to pull it up again. It's like the orange jersey tucked in the front.
Yeah, I got the poster right to my left on my wall here too with you.
Yep, that one. I look at it every single day when I wake up.
And it's funny, on that poster, I don't know if you probably know this, but right above that picture is Kayla Barnes from that 99 division, who wound up playing for the U.S. Olympic ice hockey team. So a lot of good players from the 99 division starting that year at State Wars. There's another good shot of you. You can see the mullet. He had the mullet, ladies and gents, even from a young age. Head up, as always. It's funny, some might not know this, but most probably wouldn't. But, when I used to work at Rapid Fire Arena, where Jason Mura runs now, well before State Wars, 2002, 2003, Joey used to come down there with his family. His brother PJ played in the house league. So Joey was just a little runt coming down. And I still remember, Joe, you wouldn't remember this, but I still remember you being like 4 years old, you coming in on skates or on foot, and we would just pass the puck back and forth on the rubber surface outside the rink and stuff and just hang out. And I always got a kick out of you because you were just a funny, cute little kid, but it was no shock. I always say the younger brothers always play so great. I have a younger daughter who's a very good soccer player early on compared to her older sisters, from starting younger, being around it all the time, always competing with their older sibling. And for you, I think that was the case. You came out right away, you looked up to your brother right away, and you just fell in love with hockey right off the bat, huh?
Oh, yeah. Hockey's the best.
So then,
Joe, what's your earliest memory of playing hockey?
Earliest memory? I mean, it was probably either the time at Sports Arena, it's in St. James, New York, where I first started playing in the league there, and I don't know. I was having a rough go. I couldn't get the puck from anybody. I was complaining to my coach. I'm like, can you give me another puck, please? Like, I can't do anything out here. I don't know what to do with myself. And then I started crying to my mom, banging on the boards, like, get me out of here. And then I wanted to quit, like, right away. And then a year later, then I came back to it. And then my first coach ever before VO, Coach Ed from Long Island at Rapid Fire, he picked me up.
Alonzi.
And then that's where it all began at Rapid Fire.
Biondo.
Yep. And then after that, then VO picked me up for travel, and then here we are.
I go back to that picture because you can see a young VO in that picture as well.
The championship picture, right?
Yeah, that last.
The bronze medal.
Yeah, the bronze medal with the 97 team that year. And so this is 2006. So it's, 14, 15 years ago. There's a young V, the whole world ahead of him right there. Who'd know one day he'd be coaching, you right there playing in the pro division many, many moons later. But yeah, I mean, throughout your whole State Wars career, I mean, looking at the numbers, all time you've played in 119 games at State Wars. You've scored 95 goals, 69 assists for 164 points. So that's pretty impressive stuff. Starting out young, you pretty much dominated. Like I said, you won high score the first year you played in your own age group. So that's pretty impressive. And then let's get into a little bit. Then before pro, you played, the 99 birth year has been a big deal for you guys. Missouri, Ontario, California seemed to dominate that age group for years. It was always one of those teams. New York always seemed to struggle when it got down to like the semifinals or whatnot against some of those big dogs. But in 2017, you guys finally broke through. And you were 3-0-1 that year in the round robin. You tied Northern California the first round robin game, I remember. So you probably were thinking, oh, God, here we go again. But then you got on a roll, and you played Missouri, who's been the favorites in that division a lot of years in the championship, and you defeated them 2-1. And that was the last year of the 99 division. So that had to feel pretty good to finally win it, right? The last chance?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Finally, after so many years. Even though we have a lot of friends from Missouri, like, for example, Kevin Johnson, he's a good friend of ours, but I think me, we always had our core four. Our fourth guy actually isn't in this picture, but Connor O'Neill, he was always around with us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, coming up to our last year, we were always sick of seeing Missouri win, and of course we were going to give it our all in our final year. Oh, there's another good picture.
Yeah, so that year was a big year for Joey because not only did he win the championship, he won the Best Defensive Player Award, and then here you see him with the $1,000 check. I'm not sure if you're able to find a bank to cash that check or not, but you won the scholarship that year, one of the top 12 players in the 99 division to take home $1,000, and that's something that State Wars were proud to do every year since our inception in 2005, is giving out scholarships to the high school senior group, and Joey was obviously a no-brainer to win that in 2017. In 2016, it's funny. This shows just the kind of player Joey is and just how he's such a well-rounded player, Greg, is in 2016, he not only also won the Best Defensive Player Award that year, but he won the top sniper award in the breakaway contest in our skills competition that year. So not only could he score goals, but he could stop the other team. And a lot of people believe the best defense is just have a good offense and hold on to the puck. And I think Joey's one of the best at that.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Even up in the pro division now, you know, he just does it all. He's a playmaker. He can score goals at big times, and he's a good teammate as well. So we'll show some clips in a little while of that as well.
No, 100%. So, you know, after, you know, winning those tournaments, you know, in 2018 was a pretty good year too, because, you know, you played juniors with your brother PJ that year. And New York won the junior division and the juggernaut division that year in 2018. So you and PJ got to share the floor. I know you've done that before other times, and, you know, Pi-Har and other places at home and stuff, but had to be pretty special winning the junior division. It was probably, might have been PJ's last year, I would imagine, playing junior. But to be able to hoist the big SW Cup with your brother, who was MVP of that division, had to be pretty special.
Yeah, that was a great time. So, that trophy was definitely one of the heavier ones I've ever had to hold.
Do you remember that?
Jordan Mueller.
The
Shout out
fall,
to
right?
him. Yeah, I know he's watching right now. But there's a good video of him dropping it on himself because he was so shocked to see how heavy it was in his hands, and he was so happy and he just didn't know what to do. He's like, "What do I do with this thing?" And then he just ends up falling right on his back.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was freaking out. Like, they're like, "Oh my God, like this kid almost just killed himself." But
yeah, we'll do a shout out to Jordan Mule there. He's a scorekeeper of State Wars, one of our workers, hangs out with us the whole time of the tournament. Another great kid, another great family from Long Island. Love the kid. Even though, tell you a funny Jordan Mule story, Joe. So last night of State Wars, there he is, you guys, at the Winter Wars West tournament last year, the skills comp we did there together. But we're at the last night of State Wars last year. We take the staff out for a really nice dinner, and we found this really nice place in Fort Wayne. Forgot what it was called, but it was a really good steakhouse. And we get steaks for everyone, and the steak was unreal, right, Greg?
Oh, phenomenal.
And we look at Jordan, we're like, "Jordan, you know, how do you like it?" And he was like, you know, and he compared it to like some chain. I forgot which one it was, Greg. Do you remember what
Like
he compared?
Outback or like Texas Longhorn.
Yeah, it was one of those
Longhorn.
places.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to stab him in the throat with my fork. You know, I was just like, "Jordan, really?" You know, but that's Mueller for you. You know, he's a simple man.
Yep.
So shout out to him. We love that kid.
Good guy. So Joe, we're going to show a clip here. A couple years back, 2016, I made a little highlight video of you for our magazine. So we're just going to go over a clip here against North Carolina.
sounds good. I've seen this video a few times. It's a good one.
Can you replay that with some sound, Greg?
Yeah, no sound.
Yeah, let's play that again because I like the commentary on there. George Brown makes a pretty funny comment there.
Jordy Brown, Broadway stud.
Oh yeah, he was on the podcast last week. Not sure if you caught him, but we had great fun with him last week.
Into a box.
Shot by DiMartino, and he rifles right through the box and scores. You have to know DiMartino's going to try his best not to let his team lose there.
That's such a DiMartino shot. If he's not taking it, you're looking at number 55. His brother will take that kind of shot. That's such a DiMartino shot. And 9 times out of 10, it goes in.
You know, I think George is right there, Greg. What he means by that is just, you know, Joey backing in the defense and just letting one rip through a screen. And, you know, his brother's, you know, famous for that as well. Usually blocker high. But that's just a perfect example of a great shot by Joey D.
Yeah, Joey picks him like no other. It was a smart play, good read. You know, obviously the D were backing up, and you read that. Didn't like the defensive play on that one. You know, no sticks in the lane or anything. He kind of backed up, you know, but you read it right and sniped it. Good shot. All right, we're gonna get into some Palma Pro, Tim.
All right, yeah, let's talk about Palm Pro. Shout out to Pete Messina, who calls himself the keeper of the cup. did a little shout out there on YouTube for us. He's someone that many years has held our cup for us while in between years of having the tournament, kept it in Chicago for us. One year, I actually remember, Greg, he had a pool party with it.
Yeah.
Sent us some pictures of the couple around a pool party, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But here's Joey D. So the Tour Roadrunners in 2016 made their appearance in the Palma Pro Division, which, as you know, Joe, is the top division in the Pro Division in roller hockey. So you guys, since 2016, let's go through a little bit of the evolution of the Roadrunners. So you guys, that first year, you went 2-1-0-1 with an overtime loss. Had a pretty good first year out, and you guys beat Palma, who you've done pretty well against at the Palma Pro Division. But the Palma Golden Knights, you beat them the first game right off the bat that first year. So you guys have got to be thinking like, all right, we got this, you know. And then the next game, you came out and you played your brother in Black Ice right away. You know, pretty tough schedule right there. Black Ice and the Roadrunner, the Palma Golden Knights right away. And you lost in a shootout to Black Ice. So even though you lose, it's got to stink to lose to your brother. You got to feel pretty good coming out of that, all right, you know, one of the best teams in the world, and we just went to a shootout with them, and we beat the Golden Knights. So you start out right there. Then you hit a little bit of a hiccup there. You finish out the thing. You get to the playoffs, and you lose to the Snipers 3-1 that first year, which was a very good game from what I remember. It was close the whole way. Could have went either way. So that first year, you come out of it, you know, baby steps. Then the next year, you go 2-2. And you don't make the playoffs. Then in 2018, you guys had a really back turn, took 2 steps back, went 0-4 that year. That might have been the year you even lost to Sweden, I know. And then this is a picture of you last year. So you guys went 3-1 for playing great. And in the playoffs, you had an unbelievable game with Palma, went to overtime. You blew a lead late. And that's a picture of Joey, who leaves it all out on the table out there. You know, you can see him, how tired he is that's after the game-winning goal by Travis Snow. You can just see he's just exhausted and just disappointed. So how did it feel to get that close with that team last year, and then the disappointment of that?
Oh, that was a heartbreaker, but it was a great game. And yeah, that Palma team's one of the strongest, obviously, in the division. But Travis Snow, like I was prepared for you guys to ask it if who's the hardest player for me to play against, and I was definitely going to say him, Travis Snow. He's just got an unbelievable judgment coming into any play on the rink. His reach is just unmatched. You can never get the puck off of him because he's just so tall. But yeah, we were right there. I thought once we tied that game 2-2, I thought we could have pulled that out. We were right there. It was so close, but unfortunately, it didn't go our way.
It was a tough game. Keith got hurt late in that game. It was a crazy game. I watched the whole game from upstairs. You know, and it's, you know, what do you think you guys have to do? So overall, in those 4 years, you guys are 7-8-0-1 in the tournament in round robin, but most importantly, you're 0-2 in the playoffs. So what do you think? What needs to happen? Because, you know, we know you're a young team, and you talk to Vio, it's always about the future and whatnot. But let's be real. I mean, eventually it becomes like, all right, age can't always be, you know, an excuse, right? Like, guys are young. It's a young man's game. I think young's an advantage a lot of times. So for you guys, what do you think you guys need to do to get to that next level? Because you guys are definitely there. You're right there. You're at the cusp. You might not be at the Sniper, Black Ice, Palma, Alkali level just yet. You're just right below it, maybe, being fair. But what do you think to get over that hump? Do you think it's just another year of growth? Is it confidence? Is it maybe one player, you need one more guy? You know, what do you think the missing ingredient is for you guys?
I think I would say we don't need another guy. Like we finally came together as one team. Like we have the core of people we need. But yeah, I think when we go into our playoff games, definitely confidence is definitely a big factor, and we don't score early enough in the games. We're always fighting to get back in the game. Like, for example, that Palma game, we went down wait, we went down 1-0, and then we were able to tie it, but then we went right away. We went down 2-1 after that. So like we're always fighting back in those playoff games. I think we have to get the early lead in order to pull those games out.
Well, in that Palmer game last year, you guys went ahead with 2 minutes left or whatnot, and they tied it with less than a minute left in the game, and then won in overtime. Travis scored, but the goalie pulled to tie it. And you guys had lost a key face-off. We talked about it with Travis the other day. There was a key face-off late in that game where sometimes, younger teams just don't. You're so excited, you don't even think about that draw or like that little thing, And if you win that face-off, they don't pull their goal, you probably win that game. Like just little things. And it comes down to just experience, I think, sometimes. And, we talked about it with Tyler Kraft, who was one of our first guests, about the old PA 95 team. Remember how good that team was? You watched that a lot with your brother being on the New York 95 team. And some teams just know how to win, right? And I think once you get that first big win, it becomes easier after that because a lot of it is just about, being confident and knowing how to win. Sometimes a team gets a lead and they're more nervous. And we talked about that with Tyler, how they were playing Florida 95s the one year in the championship. Florida was up by 2 goals on them and Florida got nervous and PA came back to tie it and win. So some teams they got to learn to win. And then you guys have done it, obviously, 99s, junior, juggernaut, all the divisions. You've done it at Norwich Tours and all your younger, it's been done. So it's just that next level. And I think that's probably the big difference is just that little bit of experience and confidence. But you guys are definitely a team that worries me every time I see it on the schedule. So, Greg, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I just want to show a clip here. This was a round robin game from last year. We were talking about face-offs and how key they are. And I know Nick Martini on your team is very good at draws. And he took this draw right here against Palma to put you guys up.
Now, Greg, let me jump in here. You got to ignore the time because the time's wrong here. There's about 5 seconds left in the half right now when this is going on. And Nick takes a face-off back to Delamorte, who feeds it over to Joey D, and Joey D does his magic. Let's see it, Greg.
4 seconds left. The Roadrunners win the draw and shoot and score!
Pretty clutch goal there.
Is that a set piece, Joey, off the face-off, or just doing what comes natural?
Oh, that was actually a planned play. Yeah, like while that whole Eton Javera thing was going on with Max, and like they were settling the penalty minute and everything. Me, Martini, our whole line, me, Martini, Delamorte, and Caden Riccardi, we all came together and we're like, all right, if we score a big goal here, it's gonna change the whole game, which it did. But Martini was like, all right, I'm gonna win the face-off, back to you, and you hit Joey, and then he's gonna rip, and it worked perfectly.
Greg, what's amazing about that goal to me, because I'm a lefty like Joey, and I have a lot of times with a buddy of mine who takes face-offs, as you know, we run that same play, but a little simpler. We do it, he wins it on his backhand back, and they hold up man and just take the shot. They did it the hard way and made it look easy by Nick winning it with his forehand, which is usually harder, back to Della, and then Della have to give Joey a great pass, and then him take the one-timer. That's pretty impressive skill play there for all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny, Joe, you mentioned Travis knows reach and his arm span, but you have a pretty big reach as well. People don't realize you have a pretty big stick, don't you?
Yeah, I try to keep it like not where it's like overly big where I can't even handle it, but yeah, usually like nose length, nose and lower.
Yeah, that's a great play right there, protecting the puck against Jonathan Waring. And it's pretty similar to what Travis Noe does.
Yeah.
Joey, wait till you're my age. When I was your age, my sticks were cut to here, and now I don't even cut them because my back is so bad. So now they're up to here. So wait till you get a little bit older, you'll have sticks over your head.
I'm sure, because I play my whole game style is bent over. Like I'm always getting low, and sometimes I'll feel it after a while. My lower back kills me.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, so with the Palmer Pro Division, you guys obviously you're the up and coming team. And I just got to ask you, and this is a real compliment to Joey. We're in a sport now, Greg, where guys jump ship, they leave teams, go for better offers and whatnot. And without getting into specifics, every year there's someone different leaving a different team. And what's so impressive about Joey is here's Joey, whose brother plays on black ice, and black ice is arguably, a top 3 team in the entire world in the sport. And I'm sure Joey's balls have been busted many a time about playing with his brother and playing with the team. But he's never left the Roadrunners. He's loyal to his team, to his buddies, to Anthony Violante, his coach, who's been with him forever. And I'm sure there's been a lot of times where, guys have left his team where maybe it's easy just to say, you know what, I'm going to go take the easy road just to win a championship. But he's been a true leader on this team. And that, Joey, says a lot about you, your character and whatnot. And I think the world of you to begin with, but that makes me think even greater of you. So just talk about that for a minute, about just that loyalty part of staying with your team and wanting to win as a team and with a Roadrunner jersey on.
Well, yeah, I've never really had that thought in my head to ever leave VO or any of my boys. Like, obviously they've wanted me to come over a few times, but I've always grown up with VO, and like Jason never had a young team for my age, 99s. Like he'd always had it as a thought to make a team that young, but his youngest was 96s, I believe. So I've just VO always had the young guns, and so yeah, I never really wanted to leave him because he's been the best to me, and he's my guy.
And as a coach, I love hearing that. Greg, I don't see a lot of that kind of loyalty. We have a pretty loyal group with the Snipers, but it's not something you hear too often, especially for teams that aren't winning all the time. It's easy when you're on a team that wins all the time to say, oh, I'm loyal, but when your team doesn't win all the time, it's, not always as easy. So again, this is a testament to the character of Joey DiMartino, how he's stuck with the Roadrunners all this time, and eventually they will lift that Palmer Cup. And it'll be great seeing Joey being the one hoisting it. He deserves it.
That mullet.
Still got it right now for quarantine.
It's looking good, Joe. So we'll get into some college hockey now.
Okay.
There's Joey D.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that cup wasn't as heavy, Joe.
Good picture.
So in the 3 years at Farmingdale, so Joey plays for Farmingdale State University, which is a college here on Long Island, coached by Jim Tamburino, another great guy for the sport. And in 3 years, Joey's played there. The first 2 years, they won the national championship, NCRHA championship. And then this year, obviously, with the quarantine and the coronavirus and all this garbage going on, there was no national championship, unfortunately, for college. So they were, of course, one of the favorites to win again, and he would have the hat trick potentially of college nationals. In 64 games played at college, Joey has 85 goals, 110 assists for 195 points, which is just incredible, averaging more than 3 points a game, which is just crazy. And talking to your coach, Jim Tamburino, I had asked him, I said, give me one word when you think of Joey DiMartino, what comes to mind? And he said electric. So that's pretty awesome. And then he said another word. He said, and off the rink, respectful, which I think is just, again, just shows a character of Joey DiMartino. Great teammate, great player to coach, very coachable, and just an ultimate team player.
Joe, now you've won twice, correct? And this would have been your third if you guys won this year. And
Correct.
then you'll be a senior next year?
Yeah.
All right. So is there still, 4 years eligibility or 5 years?
It's 5. Yeah, I believe it's 5. 5 years
Okay.
for ice and roller, actually.
Gotcha. Now, do you know how many championships I've won?
I would say at least 5.
No, only 4.
4?
But you got a little ways to catch up to me, buddy. All right. Thank God there wasn't a championship this year.
Yeah, there might be
No, I'm
room
just
to
kidding.
break the start of this virus just so you wouldn't catch up to him. And you played ice hockey at Farmingdale as well, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
How does the ice team do nowadays compared to the inline team?
This year was actually surprising. We did very well. We were at Nashville. It was actually another heartbreaking thing, but we were at nationals in Westchester, Pennsylvania, and yeah, we were 3-0 going into the playoffs, and then AAU came into the league saying that they had to shut the rest of it down, so we couldn't even finish it out. But yeah, we were undefeated going into the playoffs, and we were buzzing. We were feeling good. And yeah, we all had that mindset where we thought we could really win this year. And like me and Max and Jordan, we were a line actually.
Okay.
And
Max Alverson, Jordan Mueller.
Yep, we were the first line for our team, and we all mixed in points each game. And yeah, but it was tough to have to end it like that.
Yeah.
That is
especially
tough.
for some of our seniors that aren't going to be able to ever play again.
Yeah.
Now, who are you guys going to play against in that playoff game if it would have happened? Do you know?
We were thinking Buffalo State, who was like, we watched them practice and they didn't look very good at all.
Mm-hmm.
We probably would have dominated them if I'm being honest.
All right. Yeah, that's a shame for the seniors. I mean, even the roller hockey kids as well. You know, it's sad. How many seniors did you guys have for the roller hockey team?
Roller. This year I don't think we had like any actually.
Wow.
Like, well, not none, but Frankie Gaida, he was one.
Okay.
Mike Santos he's looking to graduate soon too, I believe.
Okay.
But then also like even though like we're all around the same age, like Max Halverson and Jake Corso, they weren't sure if they were coming back again for another year. They were trying to just get out and start working somewhere or whatever.
Gotcha.
So,
yeah, that must be, tough because you guys put a lot of work into it, ice hockey and roller hockey wise, practicing weekly and getting going for nationals, and all of a sudden that happens. And for the ice team, for that to happen there, were people getting sick when you guys were there, or it was just? No,
they were just they didn't want to be responsible for anything that could happen while the tournament was going on.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They had to just stop it and end it there.
Yeah, everything becomes about insurance these days. Like once the NBA shut down their doors, everyone was like, "Oh, NBA did it, we have to do it." Joe. So I'm going to ask you some questions, but before we get to some questions, I just want to speak out to our listeners. Everyone we've talked to, we've talked about roller hockey and how much it's helped their game, and guys that play ice hockey as well. We've had Steve Koleski and Pat Maroon and Chris Terrion, who all play in the NHL games, and they've talked about how roller hockey has helped their game. Just speak for a minute about, how roller hockey has helped your game on the ice as well. And, to all those people out there that think that, oh, my kid can't play roller hockey, he's never going to be really good at ice, it's going to hurt him. What do you say to that stuff?
Well, I say whoever like doesn't think that's true is completely wrong. And I've heard that before, like roller hockey is not a real sport, like play ice hockey. But that's completely just not right at all. Because through the years of me going back and forth roller ice practice 3 times a week, I could feel it in my hands right on the ice, like taking shots, making moves, making plays, whatever. I could just feel like coming from the roller rink, my hands are just like nonstop, like quick, and then like even in games, like you could tell, and other people will comment sometimes. I played in a few junior games where they're like, wow, like they're like, you have sick hands. And then I'll be like, yeah, I play a lot of roller hockey. And then like they'll actually believe it.
Right.
So
it's funny, even in the ice hockey league that Greg and I play in, we're in like the second best division, where you guys, when you played with your brother and stuff, were in the best division. And even our division, our team is all roller hockey guys. And, we generally usually the best team. And then we'll talk to guys about the next division, the highest one, and I'll find out who the best team is. And I'll be like, oh, Billy Pascali, yeah, he's a roller guy. Oh, Joey DiMartino, PJ DiMartino, oh, he's a roller guy. Oh, Justin Augusta, oh, he's a roller guy. Oh, KJ Tiffenworth, oh, he's a roller guy. And we start going through it and feel like all the best guys in Long Island playing in these leagues, for the most part, have some sort of roller hockey background as well. John Chaba when he's home, whoever. So it's just so funny. Anyone that thinks that today has just got their head buried in the sand, I feel like, But yeah, we're gonna ask you some questions here, Joe. So first thing that comes out, just shoot it out. Speak from the hip here, just to get a little bit people to get to know you a little bit better. So, are you more of a call or text kind of guy?
Most of my life, I would say text. I never really liked to be on the phone like that much, but now I would say it's half and half. Like I like to be on FaceTime with my friends, like
Okay.
late at night, whenever.
Okay. Are you more into country music or hip hop?
That's actually 50-50 too.
Okay.
It's like I've gotten more and more into country as I've gotten older, and even like I'm with Jordan Mule all the time. He's my best friend.
Right.
Him and Max actually. We want to go to a concert someday together, the three of us. But yeah, I think it's half and half. Like, well, whenever we're on road trips or anything, it's half country and half rap, hip hop, whatever.
All right. You got to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
I think I
Country
know
concerts are good.
Yes, they
I've
are.
only been to one.
Make sure you go to Jones Beach.
Yep, been there.
I think I know the answer to this question from that one trophy picture, but are you more of a dogs or a cats guy?
Dogs for sure.
Simpsons or Family Guy?
Family Guy.
Chick-fil-A or Chipotle?
Chick-fil-A all the way.
And my kids are dying every night. Dad, can we please go to the drive-through to Chick-fil-A? It's all I hear every night.
I did the other day, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. It was chaos, but it was really organized. Organized chaos.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep.
Bone in or bone out when it comes to buffalo wings?
Bone out.
Bone out?
Yep.
How about pizza? Deep dish or New York style?
Let me go with deep dish.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Thought you'd be going the other way with that one. All right. Now you talked about Travis Noah before, so I'm sure he's going to be the answer. I was going to say, in playing in the Palmer Pro division, who do you think overall best player in the division is?
I'm gonna have to go with Tyler Kraft here. He's, besides my brother, he's one of my biggest motivators and guys I look up to.
Okay. Who do you think the best skater in the Palmer Pro division is?
Besides yourself.
Beside myself.
Or Muley? You can't say Muley. You Muley, you can't say.
I mean, I'd probably go with Tyler Spezia. It's my top. And then as a newcomer, even though he's only been in the 1 year now, with Jaden Guzman, like I'm sure a lot of people can say that he's an unbelievable skater.
Well, he won the fastest skater in the Palmer Pro Skills Comp last year. But yeah, I agree with you. Tyler Spezia is an incredible skater, and he will be a guest on this next podcast coming up on Thursday. So,
Joe, do you think you could beat Jaden one-on-one in a race or what?
No, definitely not. Like in a fastest skating competition, never. But like, I feel like there's a big difference between being like starting from a start point, like in the competition, and being in game time situation. And like game time, I could keep up with him. I've done it in the past, but he's still an unreal player. And even though I wanted him to be on our team for Roadrunners coming up into the future, I still enjoy playing against him no matter what.
Yeah, skating with the puck's a little different too than skating without one, or going around the rink. What about are you a conditioner guy? You condition your hair?
Not anymore, actually.
No?
I used to, not anymore.
So no conditioner at all, just shampoo?
Just shampoo. It's nice and soft, and like I think the whole thing was it used to get too frizzy in the summer and the hot weather, so I stopped doing that.
Okay.
And yeah, so.
Now you a shampoo every day kind of guy? Always shampoo? Do you skip days shampoo or?
Yeah, no, I always wash my hair.
Gotta keep that mullet nice and clean, smelling good.
Yep.
All right. So last question for you here. Any pregame rituals?
All my top friends know that I'm insanely superstitious, but I don't really have a set pregame ritual. Like, I think the biggest thing for me is that I don't like to eat a lot before I play, like ever. Before I play, I like to have an empty stomach, just a little bit of energy, just like little snacks like a Nature Valley or Hershey Kiss or something like that. But like a lot of my friends get mad at me. They're like, dude, would you just eat something already? Like it doesn't affect you. And I'm like, I can't. I can't. Like I know I'm gonna feel it out there on the rink, and I'm not gonna feel the same.
I don't know why they care. To me, I'd be like, Joey, you do whatever the hell you got to do. As long as you keep doing what you're doing on the rink, I don't care if you don't eat all week. Just keep putting pucks in the net and stopping the other team from scoring.
Exactly.
You know, you play a lot of minutes out there. You may, Greg, we've never done this, but if we went back and timed minutes played in the Palmer Pro Division on their team, I bet you can make a good argument that Joey DiMartino may log the most minutes in an entire game of any player. Because, you know, a team like ours, we run 3 lines, 45-second shifts on and off, and no one really plays a ton. You know, you're out there, it seems like, all game. So whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, kid, because it's definitely working for you.
Yeah, he plays just as much as the goalies.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to big situations, I never want to be sitting on the bench. I have to be out there, and I'll let Vio, like Vio knows, but if I have to, like I'll tell him like, yo, V, like get me out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big shift.
Yeah.
Feeling it. Well, Joe, what's your best State Wars memory?
Actually, I was thinking about this one. I have 2. Obviously, the 2017 finally winning the cup for 99s.
Mm-hmm.
But my other one, I was just watching the video recently. I even pulled it up today quick. Was my first goal in the pro division, which was against the Revision Flex. Yep. Tom McCollum in the round robin.
Oh yeah.
Fortunately it went bar down.
Yeah.
And it was I remember that, even though it's on video, I remember that play clearly. Like Jay Corso had the puck, he got stick lifted, and the puck was sitting there for me to pick it up, and just took my best shot, and it went in.
Yeah, that's a great
Better lucky than good, buddy. That's how it starts, you know. That's what we say about confidence. You get the first one, the next one's easier. You know, everyone's got a first goal. Remember that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but Joe, you know, we really thank you for coming on with us today. You're someone that Greg and I, you know, always love watch playing out there. And, you know, like I said, from the time you were little, always knew you were going to be special. And just keep doing what you're doing. You're a great hockey player, and more importantly, a great person. And someone that we're proud to have as part of the State Wars family. And you know, hopefully going to see you this summer at Taylor Sportsplex when all this garbage is over, and see you on the rink, and, you know, hopefully not scoring too many goals against us, but, you know, look forward to watching you wheel around out there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Joe,
Thanks,
any
guys.
shout outs or what?
Oh, I mean, I've already made it a ton. Jordan Mueller, biggest shout out. Max Halverson. And I know my mom was all excited for me to be on here. So my mom too, Pistol Pete.
Eunice, yep, I know Eunice is listening for sure.
And a shout out to Eunice, to Big Pete, PJ, the whole DiMartino family, one of the greatest families I know on Long Island. Was when I was working out there at Rapid Fire, a family I got to see almost every day at the rink. And just seeing the work that you guys put in as little kids and how much support they gave you, it's no shock again that you guys are at where you're at in the sport now. But definitely real proud of you, buddy. And we'll see you soon, okay? Stay well.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Take
Appreciate
care,
it.
Joe. Good
See
luck
you
with
guys later.
school, buddy.
Well, that was the Magic Mullet, Joey DiMartino. Greg, you know, I know it gets cliche a little bit, but just such a great kid, and great player, great person. And you just can't get much better, can you?
No, he does it all. You know, he's an awesome kid, great teammate. Obviously, he has a lot of passion, like we were talking about before, about, you know, MJ. You know, he makes sure he tells V, oh, listen, V, I want to get out there right now. You know, he knows when he's good to go, and he's an awesome kid. You know, we've seen him play since he's a little guy, so it's cool to see him go through the ranks, and it's awesome to see where he's at now.
Yeah, I want to do a couple of birthday shout outs. We didn't do it earlier today. So our first shout out is to Nick Smolinski from Michigan. You know, Matt Cholesky on later on today. Maybe we'll talk about Nick Smolinski, a great little hockey player from Michigan. knowing him, he's probably doing some bench pressing or something at home and filming it for his Instagram account. I know he likes to video himself working out. So a birthday shout out to Nick. And then we got, Kevin Grasso from California, one of our favorite hockey dads out there. And Sean Kersey, who I saw was online posting during this, said, "Hey, Greg," to you during the podcast here. So it's his birthday. One of our favorite buddies from Illinois, real character. He's I don't know how old he's turning today. I would imagine around 34, 35 years old. So happy birthday out to Sean. And last but not least, Brandon Morgenstern, a former player of mine, great goalie back in the day from Long Island. Not sure if he's playing any hockey anymore, but great kid, great family. So shout out, happy birthday to everyone there. And we're going to bring on our next guest, which is Dan Costanza from Illinois, our state director, who's probably one of the biggest secrets in the sport. Everyone talks about CJ and all the history with Team USA and the dominance and the years of playing in the game. And Dan Costanza is right there. And a lot of people might not know a lot about Dan, but hopefully you do. And it's great seeing him back in the sport as a coach. And we're going to get him on and talk a little bit about all he's got going on in the sport and the history of where he started. So without further ado, let's bring on Dan Costanza.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Cavalla, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors: Mission Bauer, Tour, Alkali, La Beta, Rink Rat, Conix, Warrior, Monkey Sports, Yord Watches, Car Shield, Rocket Puck, Wraparound, and Top Shelf Targets. We look forward to seeing you all on the rink soon.
Well, we're back here, SWH Podcast, Glass Half Full Productions. We got our buddy from Illinois rocking his State Wars hockey hat, Dan Costanza. What's up, Danny?
What's going on, guys? How are you today? Thanks for having me.
What's up, Costanza?
What's up, GT?
What's going on, buddy?
Just another day in the world, right?
See you shaved for us today. Looking good, man.
I had to do something once in a while, get out of bed for you guys, right?
So how things going in Illinois? What's the good word out there? What have you been up to?
Things are good. A couple of days of work here and there. A lot of garage time with the boys. I set up a little, net with some sport court, and I hung all the kids' State Wars medals in there and made it into a little locker room. So a lot of garage time. That's about as much as we're doing about right now.
Yeah, as a dad, I'll say, the one, we always try to find silver linings and everything that's going on. And the one thing I will say that a lot of people have talked about, that we're definitely getting a lot of precious family time with the kids right now, that, busy dads that are working and things going on, kids being pulled in different directions with sports and school activities. It's the amount of time we're getting with them right now is definitely something to treasure and to enjoy. Because, there will be a point where we'll get back to normal and you won't have this time again, unfortunately. So I know we're trying to make the best of it here, and I'm sure you're enjoying this extra time with your daughter and your sons.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Every day I wake up, Ryan, my older guy, is, hey, we're going to play catch in the front yard. We going in the garage, at some point, at one point I'm going to miss this stuff that we're, getting to do now.
100%.
Yeah, sure. I saw you've been posting a lot of the clips from like kids from your teams and stuff like that. All your kids seem like they're enjoying themselves on the rollerblades and parking lots.
Yeah, I get 2 or 3 videos or pictures a day probably right now of posting. I know some of the people that are watching are probably asking why they haven't gotten posted yet, but I try to limit it to 1 a day. But the creativity and the stuff that these kids are doing these days is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ted.
It's funny, we make jokes here that, all the ice kids that were, poo-pooing on roller hockey, they're all sitting home twiddling their thumbs playing NHL on their Xbox because they don't have skates to go skating around like all the kids that have roller skates are, staying in shape. And I know talking to our buddies at Pure Hockey and Hockey Monkey, they were saying that inline skate sales have been through the roof during this, because now a lot of these ice kids are getting skates and they're saying, hey, we got to stay in shape somehow. And hopefully we'll get some retention of some of these kids saying, I actually enjoy this. I'm pretty good on my skates. I want to try some more roller hockey, and hopefully, even with the small percentage, I'm hoping we get more kids sticking with roller hockey after all this, and maybe trying it out.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with more. At least since this all started, I've gotten at least 3 or 4 texts a week on, hey, where can I go buy skates? Then I get parents, like I said, sending me the videos after they get them and saying how much fun they're having. I see families are building, rinks in their backyards now with sport court and, full out rinks. I mean, it's pretty amazing just to see the turnaround last month or so of how much people are actually getting out and rollerblading around.
And you can't ignore the economic side of all this. So, there's a lot of parents that maybe aren't working or are going to have some money issues that maybe, dropping thousands and thousands of dollars into ice hockey, travel hockey may be difficult after this. So you might see some kids taking a little bit of a more inexpensive route of playing a little more roller hockey and maybe not as much traveling with the ice. And that may affect things as well.
Yeah. I've already had, I'm unfortunate with some families have reached out to me and have lost their jobs, and things are uncertain right now. So if kids are spending thousands of dollars on the ice hockey side, and the parents can't afford it, it's just a good alternative for kids to come out at a cheap price and do something that they love to do.
Yeah, I think the one amazing thing that parents are going to see is when this is all over and ice starts back up, or any sport, and maybe a week or two of just getting going again, but they're going to realize that their kid didn't miss much of a beat in whatever sport they're at, even though they didn't really play for a few months, and realize that, hey, taking a break isn't always the worst thing.
Yeah. At first when it started, I was kind of, these kids play so much hockey these days. Every sport has turned to a all year round sport. So when this kind of break happened, I sit there and look at it with my older boy, and, he's never really taken a break, so the first couple of weeks, he still, wants to go out in the garage and wants to put the no, hey, I got practice at 5 o'clock today, tomorrow, whatever, can kind of go in when he wanted. It has been awesome. It's let him be a kid. He's riding his bike. And, like I said, I think it's been a great opportunity just to take a break and enjoy some life.
So Dan,
one of my favorite experiences in roller hockey.
Yeah, so this is Dan here. He's in the middle on top there. Pro beach hockey, playing on the Web Warriors. So for those who don't know, I haven't been around a long time. So what year would you say that, Dan, was?
Oh man, geez, I was probably about 22 years old or so in that.
Yeah, so maybe around like 98 or something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so way back in the day, pro beach hockey, they set up a rink out in California, and it had ramps on the sides, and it was filmed on ESPN and whatnot. And they had, this was a lot of the old Mudcat players here. I see Ray Matz up there. I see the Oders. I see Matty Denton. And they put these teams together. Now, was that filmed for you guys? Was it over one full weekend or 2 weeks? How long was the actual filming for all these games?
We were actually out there for about a month. Everybody, what was awesome about it, it'd be 2 a.m, 3 a.m. I'm getting text, hey, you're on ESPN. And they played so many games. Everybody thought that we were out there playing, every day. Basically, we played on the weekends. We played Friday night and Saturday night. Mm-hmm. And then we were out there for the rest of the week. We had a buddy that moved out there, Sherman.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember Sherman.
Yeah, goalie.
So yeah.
He was the
so we
breakaway
lived with him
specialist
for the week, and we'd go to different rinks in California, and we'd play hockey. And for about a month there was one of the best experiences that I'll never forget.
Dan, now Oliver David, he was actually playing in that league as well. He actually just won USHL Coach of the Year.
Really?
Yeah, which is crazy. And I heard a podcast with him the other day, and he said the Pro Beach hockey was like reality TV before reality TV actually came to grounds today. He said it was pretty funny, just the stuff that went on with you guys. Everyone would hang out, and you guys would just go ahead and play your games, and you enjoyed yourselves off the rink as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, when you say about that, I think I'm the only one in Pro Beach hockey to get traded.
Really?
I wasn't on the Web Warriors. I'll never forget it. I was actually working in a dentist, little computer office, and CJ Yoder had texted me and says, hey, you want in on this Pro Beach thing? Went into the office, quit my job, and, told him the opportunity that I had. Went out there, but I wasn't on the Web Warriors. And, CJ and with the Mugcats and all those guys, Denton and Jamie were my buddies. And, we were at the bar one night and he says, hey, what do you think if we can try and trade for you to get us on our team? And I says, yeah, if you can pull it off, that'd be awesome. So, I take that to, the only one ever to get traded, and that. So it was, like I said, one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. So.
Yeah, I think it lasted 3 years. I think it was 98, 99, 2000. They had the league out there.
Okay, was it? Yeah, so I played the last year, I believe.
Okay. So then, from there, obviously, Team USA was a big part of your life. You played, we talked about this the other day. So 2000 was your first year playing for Team USA in France. And you played through the 2007 season in Spain was the last year. And over the course of those 8 years, you won 6 gold medals for that team. And then you also played at the World Games, I know in 2005 as well, and you guys won the championship there as well. So, you were pretty lucky having a pretty good run with Team USA. It was pretty much an automatic almost. You guys are going to bring home the gold. Just speak for a minute about, those years and just getting to represent your country and what it meant to you.
Oh, man. Just putting on the USA jersey and, playing out, doing something that I love to do. It was the most amazing experience. And I look back at it and wish I would have, we all say it, but I wish I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. I actually texted Greg about a month ago looking for pictures of all these kind of, moments that I had because I had saved them somewhere and I had lost them. So, but I'd say my favorite experience was the World Games. That was as closest to the Olympics that it ever really got. And, the open ceremonies, walking in the open ceremonies. I mean, Greg's been around this and, played on some awesome teams, but that World Games, walking into the open ceremonies and seeing hundreds of thousands of people and walking onto the field, and it's just something I'll never forget. My parents, my family was all there, and all the things that my parents did to get me to that point as a kid, driving me all around the world is just an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah, we actually mentioned this with CJ a couple weeks ago. I know you asked me for some pictures, and I figured I'd wait to post them so you could see them for the first time. But that experience was pretty cool that year. We were in France for a couple weeks. We won the World Championships there, and then we stayed over in Europe for I think another week or so, and then we went to Germany and ended up winning the World Games. And that experience was really, really cool. Like you said, there was thousands of people in the stands, outside the stadium, just trying to, get to us. It was like we were, famous. It was pretty cool at the time. And that's an experience I'll never forget because that was my first year as well. So, meeting all you guys for the first time, it was a blast, and we had some good times, that's for sure. I'll send you some other pictures another time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I didn't realize that was your first. I was talking to Tim the other day, and I says, man, I'm getting so old, I can't remember all the dates and all the things that I did and stuff like that. But I was pretty sure that was your first year. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the opportunities and all the great people and awesome players that I got to meet over the time. I mean, it's just been an unbelievable ride.
And just to mention the World Games again for everyone out there listening, the World Games, it happens every 4 years. And it's basically an event for sports that want to get into the Olympics, aren't in the Olympics. And actually, Dan, the World Games was supposed to take place next year, 2021, in the United States, in Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. The World Games are set for. And myself, currently coaching Team USA, that's something I've been looking forward to, the opportunity of hopefully coaching, because I've never been to World Games. And then now with the Olympics getting pushed back a year, because of this whole coronavirus, the World Games also were pushed back a year. So now that'll take place 2022, still in Alabama.
Okay.
That's something that'd be pretty cool here. We're trying through State Wars to educate people a lot about Team USA. When you played, most people didn't know about it here. So that's one thing we're trying to do a good job about. And hopefully when it's here in the United States, you might see a lot of our fans from State Wars and other places here coming out and just checking out the World Games when the inline hockey is going on, which would be a pretty cool experience for people from a fan perspective.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. I mean, that for the sport and the growth of it. I know it's something my kids and I would be interested in going to, to check out. And I think, hopefully thing gets back going and it'd be unbelievable. I think, a lot of people don't know too. I was fortunate when I had first started playing with the USA team back in the day. I got hooked up with the Home Depot, was an Olympic sponsor. It was hard finding a job to travel throughout the summer. Like Greg had said, we were gone for months, half at a time. So a lot of people don't know back in the day, you get hooked up with Home Depot and you were supposed to work, 20 hours a week, get paid for 40, and they really took care of us. So,
that's awesome.
Maybe hopefully with the World Games coming up and stuff, they can get back to that point where, there's Olympic sponsors and stuff like that for these kids that are, guys that are coming up to play in the game.
Yeah, it's called Operation Gold, correct, Dan?
Correct. Yep, it was called Operation Gold. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, Dan, because for me as a coach, when you start, organizing a team and deciding who you want to have play, that becomes a factor. Like, who can get away all that time? Who has a job, who has a family, who can't leave work, and whose wife's going to kill them if they say my 2-week vacation I'm spending with the hockey team and not going on a family vacation. So those are all factors. So that was a great thing they had.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it gave me opportunity to still have money and, survive in the summer with, like I said, not being able to find a job. So I think it was a key success to, I think 4 or 5 of our core players are on it. So it allowed them every year to keep coming back and just playing a lot and not having to worry about the other side of it. So, like I said, hopefully it can get back to that point and the sport can just keep on moving in the right direction.
So Dan, in 2017, you also played with the IHF team for that 1 year, correct?
Yes. I played,
2007.
I played the 1 year. Yep. There was other years before that I wanted to, but they were, with me being on the Home Depot side of it, they didn't allow me to do both USA teams with the IHF. So the last year I was actually off the Home Depot program. I actually played 1 year with the IHF and with Dan Brennan and, a couple of different guys. But, that was one tournament it was a class act. You go in the locker room, there's, hundreds of sticks in there, tapes. I mean, they just did, they took care of you like no other, like you were like you were an NHL team. So it was an experience, that I'll never forget also.
Yeah, that year you guys lost in the quarterfinal 7-4 to Finland. It was a tough team, obviously. We played them in the championships in 2017 at IHF. So just to show you that the Finns have always been one of the top teams in that tournament for sure. Yeah. So let's get to a little bit of State Wars now. So, when State Wars started in 2005, our first 3 years, 05, 06, 07, was held at the Edge Arena in Bensenville, Illinois. And Dan, this is a picture from 2006, our second year. You were on the team 05, 06, 07, a senior team back before we had a pro division. And you guys, the first couple of years, took silver. Greg and the New York boys had your number those first couple of years, beating you guys in the championship. You were the high scorer in 2005. 5 games played, 10 goals, 14 assists, 24 points that first year. So what do you remember from State Wars first years coming out and representing Illinois with Pete Messina and some of those other guys?
Yeah, it was a great experience to be able to have it at the Edge. I believe, like you had talked about, I think it was supposed to be held in Wisconsin somewhere, right, with a big rink, and it just never fit through. We were lucky enough to get it, and
right there.
Yeah, there it is. So just the opportunity, to play with a lot of those younger guys. A lot of those guys I knew and coached them, like Pete and Kersey and.
Lee Sweat played the 1 year with you guys. Yeah.
Yep. Joe Siglaric and Jimmy Siglaric. They used to play with my younger brothers on a team called the Smints. So they, everything. And I don't know if you noticed from that picture though that actually my brother Mark was the goalie, and he got hurt coaching in a game and fell off the bench. Yes. So we ended up having to pull in a goalie for the last couple of games. So. It was a great time.
I remember that with Mark hitting his head on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember that.
But to get to play with both my brothers, both my brother Scott, they're playing out, and then have an opportunity to play with them, and their buddies was an awesome and unbelievable. Unfortunately, GT's New York team was pretty stacked. So for us to just kind of even hopefully give them a better game than we could have, but it was still an awesome experience.
Yeah,
You
you guys always had a good team, and as Tim mentioned, I think Lee Sweat played the first year as well.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool, NHL guy.
If you really think about all the players out of Chicago, that we had, if we could have just got them all on one team for one of the tournaments, we could have, probably given you a game a little bit better. But you got guys like Pete Messina, you got guys like Lee Sweat, Billy Sweat, you got guys like Pat Lee, even some of the older guys, I don't remember if from Team Easton, called Jeff Nelson, and Mike Waldron, and guys like that all played for Team Easton or so-and-so. So there was tons of talent here in Chicago. It was just hard getting everybody on the same page and getting them all together.
How about the cab driver, Webb?
Oh, Webb.
Jim Webb.
A lot of you Chicago guys, or some of my ice hockey dads, they might remember him. One of the craziest guys I'll never forget. We were playing in a tournament at All-American in St. Louis, one of my favorite places to ever go play for tournaments. And they were playing, and we're watching a game. Obviously, it's a little hot for the goalies. And halfway through the period, he took off his chest protector and played the whole half without a chest protector. And guys were just coming in and firing slappers and hit him off the chest. He'd get up like it was nothing. And the guy was
the grunt all game too, Dan. Remember the grunts? He used to have grunts going all game.
Yeah, he grunt, and he probably about 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
I mean, he was just huge, but experiences like that.
The little nets,
Oh yeah, you had to a lot of people here that I brought onto the game don't realize that we use smaller nets in the USA games and stuff like that. So there wasn't much room to score on goalies like that. But
even today, our team in Barcelona last year, they still play, on those smaller nets. Definitely a different game for sure.
Yeah.
Dan,
Didn't really hold you back, Dan. Didn't hold you back though.
What'd you say, GT?
Didn't hold you back though from scoring.
Yeah. I played with a lot of great people that got to set me up, so it was a lot of good teams.
Go ahead, Tim.
Dan, in all your State Wars years, so you've played 46 games at State Wars overall, 48 goals scored, 41 assists, 89 points. No biggie. So you've done pretty good. You're starting to get it going again now, obviously. I remember the one year we played together at Midwest Wars in 2015. You hadn't played a lot at that point. And I remember you struggling a little bit that tournament. I remember a couple of times me and Peter Dale on the bench going, all right, I think we got to carry Dan a little bit this game. He hasn't been skating much. But every game you got better. And then seeing you a couple of years later at State Wars, obviously it's like riding a bike. You got it back. And then, you get into the 35 and over division. Here you guys in 2018, 35 plus the AA championship, you guys won 4-3 in a wild one in overtime over Team New York. You won the most valuable player award for that division. It was a pretty wild game. I think Greg's got a couple videos from that game for you.
That I do.
Cool.
Give me a second here.
So just to set this up here, so this is a championship versus Team New York, 35 and over AA. Dan had actually late in the game had taken a pretty dumb penalty. A slashing penalty. They probably would have yelled at his sons if they did. And New York scored on the power play. I remember watching. I'm somewhere right about up here above that represent your state. It might be me by that yours and the represent your state. I was watching the game. And you took a penalty, and I was like, oh God. And they scored, went up 3-2. Ignore the time. The idiot person doing the camera has the wrong time up there. But you guys wound up pulling the goalie, and with 7 seconds left in the game, Dan Costanza turns back the clock, gets some magic back here. So let's watch this, Greg.
Zone, 15 seconds left. Past the right side, Dan Costanza cuts to the middle, look, shoots, he scores! Dan Costanza ties the game at 3, 7.1 seconds left in the second.
Well, that was a tire there, Dan.
Yeah, 7 seconds left.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the box and, taking the dumb penalty, and I'm like, and as soon as I got in the box, I knew they were going to score. So I went to the goalie and just said, "Hey, my bad." And I'm like, I got to try and redeem myself and help my teammates out here that were, playing their asses off to try and win the game here. So I felt like I owed them all one.
And here we go to overtime. Dan wasn't done, Greg, was he?
He wasn't.
It's on the left wing. Dan Costanza to the high slot. DeKales to the front of the net. Backhand shot. He scores! Put that on your highlight reel. Dan Costanza, coast-to-coast goal. What a tally to give Illinois Chicago Drive the win.
Obviously, that goal was really nice, but it was really cool to see your kids in the corner experience that with you.
Yeah, that was great. I didn't realize that you guys had a video with them showing on my kids, but that was really kind of the first time my kids really got to see me play. Every year now the kids are asking me, "Hey, you gonna play this year? You gonna play this year?" Because my older son really enjoys watching me play, and it was a great time. And seeing my kids play and me be able to play is just it's an awesome experience.
And I'm sure besides your kids, Dan, you're probably a lot of the kids you coach are probably there watching because the 35s or 45 play around the same time as the younger divisions. So it's got to be pretty cool for the kids you coach and the parents of them just to see you out there going, all right, coach can play too. So that's always helps as a coach.
Yeah, it's the kids' parents are unbelievable people. They came and watched the game. I'll never forget the one game they made all signs of my face and we're carrying on popsicle sticks and they ended up in the refs room and I took crap for it for about a week, but it just shows the people that I've gotten involved in the program and that are friends with the kids are just awesome people, and it couldn't make me happier to be around these type of people.
Another funny thing is the guy that you smoked for the winner, I see him weekly at our rink, so everyone always rips him apart about that.
Who was that, Duke?
That's the Duke, yeah. So he got walked pretty bad by you in overtime, so he's still hearing about it.
Well, here's a story for you too, and I can't remember who it was, but I'm sure we can find out who I lined up with on the face-off. After I took up to the penalty, somebody had made a comment to me saying, "Hey, way to cost your team the game," or something like that. So I think that was even the next line that even goes, all right, now I really got to kind of step up. And I don't remember who it was because I just had my head down. I didn't look who it was. And I remember whoever it was that said it was the extra little motivation. So you
got you going a little bit. Funny.
You can tell them, man, thanks for the motivation a little more.
That's great.
It's funny you say that, Dan, because we were talking about earlier with that Michael Jordan documentary going on, that Last Dance about the Bulls, which you coming from the area, I'm sure you were a Michael Jordan fan at one time.
Oh yeah.
And I remember watching, not on that show, but another video with him where I forgot who the player was, and he was saying how he was shit talking Michael Jordan during a game, and he said, "I learned a lesson real quick. You don't talk smack to Michael Jordan." Like I guess he was talking smack to him, and then Jordan just went on a tear after that, and just got in his face after the game. So it's a lesson learned. You just don't wake a sleeping lion, I guess. So here's Dan. Here you are here in 2019, last year, winning the Director of the Year award. And that's a pretty prestigious honor for us. We give out that award for everyone at home to one person every year. And it's a person who exemplifies just being a great ambassador for the sport in their home state, someone that gives their all for the growth of the sport, working with the kids, coaching, just doing everything to help grow the sport. And it was a big honor for us to give it not only to one of our customers, but someone that we consider a good friend. And I'm sure that was a pretty proud moment for you. And a lot of that was during, I think, the 2009 or 10 awards ceremony. So all your people are in the stands for that. I remember people going crazy. That had to feel pretty special winning that in front of all your fans.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Yeah, during the award ceremony, everybody got crazy loud. Actually, I know you had talked about earlier about Pete Messina, having the cup and the pool party and stuff like that. Well, let's just say some of the dads and us had a little bit of party with the trophy on later in that night, and took it a few places. So it was a good time. But to share that with my good friends, through ice hockey and roller hockey and everybody that's kind of come together with the State Wars family. So it was a great time, and it's just I like giving back to the sport that that gave me so many memories and so many friends. So it's awesome to be a part of, and hopefully I can just keep growing things for here in Chicago and keep growing the sport.
Yeah, CJ Yoder had made a comment a couple weeks ago how, people don't realize, this sport, we're still in such a young age with the sport. We're just now getting to that second generation. And we see it firsthand. It's so great to see CJ helping grow the sport in Colorado. And he's our director there, and he's got kids playing, young son playing. Peter Dale, we mentioned earlier, same thing with him, Wisconsin. His boys have been playing. He's grown a whole program out of Wisconsin. Now yourself in Illinois, Derek Kern here in New York, coaching 6 and under last year, getting his boys playing now. And that's really where this sport's going to take it to the next level, where some sports like a baseball or whatnot, or basketball, it's years and years of generations playing. We're still in the infancy stage. And, maybe you and I might not be around when this sport is at its highest, but, we're doing a lot of the groundwork for it. And it's I know for me, it feels really good seeing that, coming full circle, great players now coaching their kids and whatnot. But it's got to take on a whole new meaning to someone like you to see it now from the other side. You talked about your parents doing so much for you when you were younger, and now being able to share this stuff. And there's your son Ryan after winning the gold medal in 2018. So that's got to feel pretty good seeing all that coming together.
Yeah, it's when I was a kid, I started off playing roller hockey with just playing in my parents' basement. We moved to Cincinnati, Ohio. We had a huge basement, and I started off playing there. So there was really no State Wars tournaments. There was no NARTS tournaments. There was nothing. It was just rollerblading around. Now the opportunity that these kids have is unbelievable, and wish this stuff was around when I was a kid. So now I have the opportunity to pass that on to my kids and other kids in here in Chicago. To play this wonderful sport that we enjoy every day. So, I look forward to keep growing it and, getting more kids involved. Last year was the first time I really kind of made it into a program. I started this 4 or 5 years ago, just renting the rink. So my kids could play. And just from renting that rink, growing it each year and more kids coming out and play. Last year was the first year I had 65 kids in the program. This year growing into it, I had 115 kids this year. So within 2 years, it's been fantastic. And the kids that keep coming out and the talent that these young kids have is just crazy good.
That's awesome. Great. Go back to that picture of Connor. What I love about this picture, Dan, I don't know if you caught it. I think it was just a great shot of Connor with the Tour Mudcats banner on the boards right there. I thought that was a pretty cool shot, just knowing that you grew up playing with the Tour Mudcats and just seeing how that picture was caught. That was a pretty awesome picture.
Yeah, I actually have that. I have that picture saved, and that was Connor's kind of real first year of State Wars experience. He's been watching his older brother play. And, he loved, every bit of it. It was his first year. His buddies got to come with and play. And, it just, he loves the sport of roller hockey too.
Now, Dan, how do you get the buy-in, Dan, like with ice? So obviously, you're always battling ice hockey. And ice hockey is a year-round sport. And, obviously have done a great job of getting a lot of kids doing both. And you can see the talent level is just unreal at the younger age groups. In places like Illinois, Missouri, New York, California, Ontario, there's certain areas where you see the ice buy-in, the level of play is just at a whole nother level. How do you juggle that with the ice people that, you got to deal with a lot of crazy people and coaches that don't want anyone doing anything else other than playing ice hockey. So how have you juggled that to build your program?
a lot of it comes from just, they see my boys playing, and just want to come out and join with them. But I think what really kind of helped me out was 4 years ago, or 3 or 4 years ago, I started coaching ice with a guy by the name of Jamie Ori. And he actually, his family owns the CYA AAA ice hockey program here in Chicago. And like you said, a lot of coaches on the ice hockey side of it are totally against it. It's going to hurt your stride. It's not going to help your game. So I think from him backing it as the head coach of my kids' ice hockey team and saying, hey, this is a great, thing for your skills, and it's going to help your ice game out, and just, a lot of fun, is really kind of started getting it going for me. So I know each year I get more kids out, but having somebody and seeing if they're okay with it and it's going to help your ice game, I think it kind of really, helped me take off of everything.
Yeah. So last year, 2010s won, and the 2009s actually lost this past year, correct? In the quarterfinals or semifinals?
Correct.
Yeah. In
We
New
lost
York.
to New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
And who did you guys beat in the finals here in 2000 with the 2010s?
I think we beat California.
California.
I think we
I
beat
know-
California.
Yeah,
And
since you started coaching, Dan, so you started your first year coaching at State Wars was 2015, the 6th on the team. You took bronze. Then the next year, that 6th on the team took silver. You lost to California. Ryan won the top defensive player of that tournament. And then 2017, that team would become your 09 team.
Yeah.
They won the gold medal. And then 18, the 09s and the 10s won the gold medal. We don't talk about silvers and bronzes anymore. It's all about the gold, right?
Yeah.
And then 2019, the 10s won the gold. So, and Ryan won the top sniper award in the skills comp. So you've seen it building, like every year, the kids are getting better. And I gave you a compliment a couple of years ago to someone, and you were playing another team. And I don't remember who you were playing. And the other team was just as talented. But what I had said to GT was the Illinois team just moves the puck and the way they play, where the other team was a little bit more selfish with the puck, let's just say. And that's what I noticed from the teams that you coach, how they move the puck. And that's always been a big part of my coaching as well. And I love seeing that. It's not easy always to teach that, but you've done a great job with that, and you can see the results from it.
Yeah, you know what? That's something that we stress. It's a team sport. We don't want kids trying to, do it all ourselves. And, I got a good group of kids also, too, that have now, with my 09s, that have played together for, quite a few years, and, skating on Saturdays, and just they're all good hockey players, and they're all very, very coachable. So, this year with everything going on was going to be actually the first year that I was actually not going to coach that 09 group. I wanted to actually sit back and, kind of watch my kids and enjoy those kids and kind of pass them on and let them hear from somebody else. IRHL took some steps this year, and with the growth had hired some coaches. I hired this guy by the name of Garrett Haar from the Panama Knights, which I'm sure you guys all know. So I was actually planning on letting him, coach those group of 09s kids, and he said nothing but good things about them. So they're very, very coachable kids.
Garrett Harris played at State Wars since 2005 with California. He was a former MVP for the 93 division. So he's been around forever as well. Another great guy in the sport. I think that'd be a great move by you.
Yeah.
So when you're at State Wars, I'm sure a big highlight of the tournament is the Palma Pro division. And I'm sure you and your teams and your boys and people you coach come and check out a lot of those games, correct?
You know what? Unfortunately, most of my kids and the younger guys are always at a different time than the pro division, so they haven't even been around to see those pro games.
Okay.
And unfortunately too, I haven't been around there because my kids just haven't played at that time. So as they get a little older, I think the times and the dates will be around the same time. So I'm looking forward to to catching some of those games.
Yeah, we did have a pretty good showcase last year at Midwest Wars, so that was probably pretty cool for them, to watch.
Yes, yeah, at the Midwest Wars, they got to
Yeah.
see some of the games. Unfortunately, I didn't get to catch any of the games. I was coaching so many games over at Mount Prospect, so I didn't get to, but I know some of them, got a chance to go over there and see what it's all about.
So Dan, I want to ask you a couple questions now.
Yeah.
So all your years playing, with the Mudcats, Team USA, you've played with obviously a lot of great players over the years. Dip back into your memory bank. So if you could take all the players you've ever played with in their prime and $1 million hockey game, you could put one goalie, 2 forwards, and 2 D on the floor to win $1 million in a game. Who would you put out there?
You said 1 goalie, 2 forwards, and 2 D?
Correct.
All right, goalie's easy. I'm going Rob Laurie. Defense, I'm going Jamie Yoder, and I'm going Mike Scioli. Forwards, I'm going CJ Yoder, and I'm going, let's see. Oh man, I hate to say this, and he's not really a Mudcat guy or anything. If I need a big goal or somebody's gonna, I'm probably gonna go with Jerry St. Cyr. Probably one of the, big guy, talented, played physical, slashed me probably 1 million times, but the guy was just very, very talented also.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good
That'd
lineup.
be a great team right there.
Yeah, people don't realize how good Mike Scioli actually was. He's a name that never really gets brought up these days. But he was actually my line mate the first year I played Team USA, and he taught me so much, that guy, and on and off the rink. And just an awesome guy, very soft-spoken, but he was a quiet leader, and he was phenomenal.
Yeah, I think the combination with him and Jamie is Jamie's more of your, kind of stay-home defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
We'll sit there. I'll never forget USA games on a penalty kill. He probably blocked 7 shots on 1 power play right off the chest and gets up like it's nothing.
Yep.
Then you got Scioli. That's a guy that can, wheel. He can jump up in the play, create the offense, and get back. And he's a big, big, strong guy. I'll never forget. He had 2 sticks too. Also, he had 1 stick that. He played most of the game, and then he used another stick, when he needed to whack people and, kind of play the physical side of it and stuff. So I'll never forget him telling me that. But, yeah, Scioli was a very talented guy.
Yep.
Who was the best locker room guy you ever played with?
Easily Jay Mazer. Not even a question about that. Mazer always kept it, with the Mudcats, he always, always a blast in the locker room, the speed racer, we call him. But he's always up to some kind of jokes. I believe we were in Dumars. I'll never forget, we had like an 8 or 9 o'clock game, and he came up with the idea of, hey, right after the game, let's just grab our, bags off of the bench and let's just roll right out. We rolled right into minivan, got home, and, got out for the night. So Mazer was always coming up with new ideas and new things to do.
Yeah, I know Mazer my whole life. I remember back in the day playing, we had our Valley Stream team, and we'd go down to Todd's, and whatever side D I was playing, he was the opposite side forward. I always had to get stuck covering him man to man, and he's the fastest guy in the rink. And I'd always be like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I got to cover this guy, back when he was with the Speed Racers before the Scorchers. And, he's worked the last few years with us at Winter Wars East in Pennsylvania and our tryouts. So Greg and I get to spend the whole tryout day with him. And you can imagine how many short jokes we tell in a day and the same jokes. But me and him have a really good going back and forth. So it's pretty fun. And shout out to the little guy, Jay Mazer. Hopefully he's watching. But I agree with you 100%. What a character.
Yeah. We just about a week or so, we had all the Mudcats on little group text. So it's been a while since I got to catch up with those guys. So, it's unfortunate we don't live in the same states, but I've been saying for a couple of years now, it'd be nice to try and get the whole crew back to another tournament and all play together as a Mudcats one more time at some point and somewhere. So I know I keep pushing it. It's hard getting all the families together, but hopefully one year we can pull it off.
No, that'd be
cool to
awesome.
see.
So I'm just going to ask you a couple of quick speed round questions, Dan. Whatever comes to mind from these questions, just shoot out there. So call or text?
Text.
Beer or wine?
I'm not much of a fan of either. I just kind of started drinking a little bit of wine, but I'm kind of a vodka guy. But if I have to go, I'll go wine.
Okay. Room temperature water or cold water?
Cold water.
Okay. Chick-fil-A or Chipotle?
Oof. Chipotle.
When you were playing back in the day, did you prefer playing on sport court or roll-on?
Oof. Roll on. There was nothing better than skating on roll on. I felt like I could fly, and I wasn't the fastest skater in the world. So when I was on the roll on, I felt like I was a little faster.
Yeah, I agree. I remember probably the best tournament I ever played in the Odeum one year in '93 at USARS. It was on the roll-on. Rink 2 was even better than the main rink, and same thing. I was never the fastest, but I felt like Pavel Bure on that rink. It was such a tight floor, and I used to love playing on roll-on back in the day.
Yeah, Odeum was the best rink playing on that floor. That was one of my favorite roll-ons.
No, for sure. Soup or salad?
Salad.
Steak or chicken?
Steak.
Youngblood or Miracle?
Miracle.
All right, and the last one for you, playing or coaching?
Coaching now. I like coaching.
All right.
Wow. Now, Dan, I got a question for you. How's your poker game? I heard it's not too good.
So Pete Messina's been putting these poker games together, and a bunch of my hockey dads decided to get a game together. We were looking for one more player, so I invite Pete, and it's the first night we got this going on, this poker game going. So I got all my dads on the Zoom, and Pete joins in, and he goes all in on the first hand, and I got a pair of jacks. And all I hear in my background is all the dads saying, "This guy's coming in trying to push you around, Dan." So without even thinking, my first time I go all in, I lose. After I waited an hour and a half to play the game, and then there was no rebuy-in. So it was it was the first great night of the poker. And then, I joined those guys the second night, but it was good playing with Kersey and, Pete and Giggles and all these Chicago guys. So it's giving us something to do.
Yeah, Pete loves to gamble. We've spent many a nights at a blackjack or a pie gow table together.
Or roulette.
Yeah, he loves it.
Oh yeah, that's when they say we're looking for somebody. I knew that was the one person I call, and I actually texted him, and he goes, "I'm about to get done with the game right here. I can join your game in about a half hour." And I'm like, "All right, you're in." So,
well, it's funny when we were coming home from State Wars last summer. It was Greg, myself, and Brian Richford, and our flight got delayed. And we wound up in Chicago, and I had happened just been texting with Pete, and I asked him how the end of the tournament went. I'm like, "You won't believe it. We just got stuck here." And he's like, "All right." He goes, "I'll pick you guys up in an hour." I'm like, "Oh, you don't have to pick us up, but we'll meet you somewhere." So we met him at a casino, and we stayed there for the night. And, just perfect Pete. We could tell him with 10 minutes notice, meet us there, met us, went out for a great dinner, had some laughs, got to gamble a little bit with him before we flew home the next morning. But, definitely one of the best guys in the sport for sure.
Yeah, great guy. Actually, this year with RHL, some of the additions that we added this year. One of them was we kind of just announced that Tour is going to be a main sponsor for RHL,
Awesome.
Along with Lobeta Hockey and also Tovi. So I decided to go ahead and start, an adult team and kind of sponsor them. So I decided to kind of got the idea off of you guys and run a Super Bowl party, squares to try and raise money for Steve and Bonnie and Garrett, and for these kids to look up. And Pete was the first guy to buy Super Bowl squares. He spent $300 on them, and another guy that's played around and just willing to give back the sport and help grow it. So Pete, is a great guy.
Yeah, he wipes his ass with $20 bills, that guy. So don't worry about him. He's all right,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, he won. Of course. When I invited him into the card game, he won. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Rich.
He took all of my CYA dad's monies, but it was fun playing with him.
He actually flew into New York. I would say, what is it, 2 years ago now, Tim? Just for the night. He met us for dinner and flew out the next morning. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, we had a little sniper party he came out for. It was fun.
I forgot that he played with you guys in the snipers. How many years did he play with you guys?
Couple years.
Couple years toward the end of his pro days. Yeah, he came with us, and just a great guy. One of my favorites in the sport. All right, Dan. Well, we want to really thank you for coming out today. We got Matt Cholesky patiently waiting, another great state director of ours from the Midwest. But we just want to thank you for all that you do for State Wars hockey, for the sport and growing it. And, we're real proud to have you as part of our State Wars family. You've done an amazing job in Illinois, and we definitely look forward to the future of working with you and seeing all the great things that you're going to do in Illinois and watching your kids just get better and better.
Yeah, no problem. It's great working with you guys, and I appreciate everything you do for me and for my family, and can't wait to see you guys here, here at the end of the summer for the State Wars tournament.
Yeah, we'll see you in Taylor real soon. So thanks so much, Dan. Have a great rest of the day.
All right, you too,
Take care,
guys.
Danny.
Take care.
Good
Get back
seeing
out
you,
to the
right?
garage.
All right, buddy. Bye.
See you later. All right, that was Dan Costanza from Team Illinois. Love that guy. And we're going to bring in Matt Cholesky, character for sure. One of our favorites, GT.
One of the best guys in the sport. He's a character and runs a great program as well. So looking forward to talking to him.
All right, hold on here. Let's see here. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Cavalla, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. See you at the rink soon.
Well, we're back here. State Wars Hockey Podcast, episode number 7, with our good friend and his newly renovated kitchen, Matt Cholesky. How you doing, Matty?
Pretty good, Tim. How you guys doing, Greg?
Matty K, what's going on, buddy? Just
Not
trying
much.
to organize your pictures here,
Yeah,
Ready.
nice little background, right? Less attention on this mug, more attention on the hockey, guys.
I see you didn't get the background going. You couldn't figure it
I
out.
couldn't figure it out. You tried to help me, but I'm not too tech savvy, so couldn't get
It's
it
looking
going.
good though. It's looking
All
good.
right, all right.
So that is, I wasn't sure if that was a virtual background. That is the real kitchen back there. Okay.
It is.
All right.
It is. I could
Looking
do a
good.
tour, but the laptop's too heavy to show around.
I like the white cabinets, Matt. You did a good job there.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
So how's everything going? People don't know Matt's gal. Christine's a nurse out in Michigan. So we've always been giving a shout out to all our first responders and people on the front lines, our nurses, our doctors, our police, our firemen, our grocery store workers, all the essential people, garbage men, whatnot. So it's always a crazy time when you're living with someone who's doing all these jobs. So how's Christine doing, and how's she handling the whole nursing aspect during all this?
She's doing good. There's a couple of tough weeks there for her. And then she's actually a surgical tech. So she was getting called up to the COVID floors to help out and just do whatever they needed there for a while. So actually this week, they laid her off this week, and she'll go back to work next week and get back into the front lines again. So she's just home chilling right now, and she'll get back to work next week.
You gotta put that woman to work, man.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So it was in my house. I'm not working. I'm like, woman, you gotta work. You gotta,
Right. You just kind of make up things to do. Yesterday, I finally got off my butt and went and delivered a bunch of outdoor wheels actually to, I don't know, probably last count was well over 800 wheels I delivered out to all over Metro Detroit. And it was fun. Got to see a few of the people. A lot of the people weren't home, but delivered a bunch of wheels and hopefully the kids, and even I think I sold more to adults than I did even the kids, but they're out there hopefully tooling around the neighborhoods.
And we've been saying a lot of the ice hockey snobs have no choice but to put wheels on right now and skate around the neighborhood. Those ice blades don't work too well on the sidewalk, do they?
Right. They're learning to appreciate the roller hockey now.
So let's talk about Matt Cholesky. Matt, you're born in Detroit, Michigan, but you started playing hockey, real young, obviously. Here's a picture of you with Gordie Howe as a youngster. So just tell us about this picture here.
That was, maybe the year, I'm going to guess 77, 78. I think I heard you earlier saying I'm the oldest guest you guys have ever had on the show here. So maybe you can have somebody older down the road here so I won't hold that honor. But Gordie used to help us out back in the day. Somebody had a connection with him, and he'd come out. He did some hockey schools the Gordie Howe Hockey School. And of course, he would just show up on a Friday and sign autographs and come out for a couple hours. But great guy, and he would help coach a couple of my teams when I was really young. I think that year was the year our team went to that big tournament in Quebec, actually, and we actually ended up winning that tournament. So one of my highlights of my real young career.
Right. It's funny, look at those old pictures. He's probably younger than you and I in that picture there, but people looked a lot older back then.
But yeah, he was always in great shape from what I remember.
Oh, yeah.
He was just rock hard everywhere, man.
So what got you started playing hockey when you were young?
My dad started me. I think the first time I really got into an organized team, believe it or not, we skated at Joey DiMartino's field house. It was the first time I ever played. I always joke that'll be the first and last time I ever play hockey, but first and last place I ever play hockey. But started out with Kevin Hatcher, actually. You guys probably remember Kevin.
Capitals.
Great NHL career. And we were on a team called the Sterling Heights Rockets, and my dad was a manager and just got us going at the age of 5. I remember going to the old Olympia for outside rink at downtown Detroit and have 6 a.m. practices and skating outside, and my feet would be freezing. And that's kind of when I got into it and just never looked back, because as you guys know, ice hockey is a 5, 6, no, if not 7 days a week for a lot of these kids.
Yeah, so when you were a kid, unlike kids today, I'm sure you probably played other sports besides hockey, though, right? It wasn't just hockey?
Yeah, actually, I played a lot of baseball, 2-3 teams a summer. My dad was a believer in playing whatever you wanted to play. It wasn't just hockey. We had our positions, sure, but there was no double rostering and stuff like that. My summers were spent playing baseball mostly, and until I had some shoulder problems. I think baseball was the sport of choice. And then hockey was just something that, it was my way of life. I guess I didn't know anything else other than that.
Right. So in 1986, Matt wound up going all the way out west, as far as you can go, I guess, to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, where he played for 4 years, NCAA. 115 games played, 58 goals scored, 92 assists, 150 points. Pretty impressive. So Matt, what made you go? Were you just trying to get away from your parents? I mean, what made you go so far away to Alaska? And I guess Alaska really is a real place.
It really is a place, and real good hockey. And actually, the first year I played there, I ended up going there. A good friend of mine, Sean Chambers, another NHLer, a couple Stanley Cups. We actually lived about right around the corner from Kevin Hatcher, same neighborhood, those two guys. And then my buddy Michael Land, as you guys know, we would go over there and hang out and run the streets and play street hockey and hockey in the garage. But anyway, Sean Chambers had went to Alaska the year before, and then he kind of told the coach about me, and I kind of was having some problems in juniors with our administration, the organization. So my college choices dwindled to 2 or 3 different schools. So I chose Alaska, and I ended up off and on living there for about 11 years. Loved it. Loved every minute of it.
How crazy is there with the darkness and some days are almost fully dark, right? Some days are fully light. Like, how does that work out there?
Yeah, it was. There was, every semester in Alaska, we had to do our practices around everybody's class schedule. It wasn't like going to Michigan State or Michigan where the same BA 301 or whatever class would be offered 4 or 5 different times. In Alaska, the class was offered once and maybe every other semester. So you really had to be careful picking your classes. And there was one semester, I think, when during the 3 hours of daylight was maybe 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., we were at the rink practicing. So there was probably 3-4 months where we did not see the sun whatsoever. And it was all daylight. We were in the practice facility practicing and messing around.
I feel like Michigan's like that, Greg. Every year we go out there for Midwest Wars.
Gotham City.
Gotham City, we call it, right?
Yeah, we always, it's always raining there when we land. It's always dark.
That April month, Matt pulls up in the Batmobile, picks us up, and away we go.
Well, today for the podcast is a nice sunny day, and then I'm sure the next 3 days will be all rain and cold weather again.
That's what my kids are mad at me. We finally get a sunny day, and I'm spending it down in the podcast in my office where I could be outside shooting hoops or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, Matt, do you stay in touch with a lot of your college teammates?
I do a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, but it can be useful for some things. And I'm probably the worst one. And they probably, if they ever saw this, they'd be bad mouthing me right now because I'm not great at staying in touch. And I miss those guys so much. And I get all emotional when I talk to them. And then I start wanting to think about moving back to Alaska and everything. But yeah, Facebook, I keep in touch with a bunch of those guys. Maybe a conversation or two a year, if not through Facebook on the phone, but just this quarantine has renewed a couple of relationships. One guy's actually living in Nashville, and I told him I might be heading there. Actually, supposed to be going there for a party in June, but he was looking for outdoor skates actually. So we started messing around with some old memories and stuff like that. But yeah, so I keep in touch with some of those guys.
And I'll tell you a funny Alaska story. So I remember probably about 3 or 4 years into starting State Wars, I had a buddy of mine come up to me and say, "Hey, do you ever think you'll get all 52 states involved with State Wars?" And I just looked at him like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, all 52. Would you get Alaska and Hawaii involved too?" And I'm like, we're just gonna stick with all 50 and we'll see how it goes."
Yeah, I was almost thought I missed something there. Like, when did we add 2 more states?
Yeah, for some reason people think Alaska is and Hawaii are the extras, I guess.
Well, when you live in Alaska for a while, you call it the lower 48 is the rest of the United States, right? Alaska.
Right. Well, then, after college, Matt wound up in 95, 96 playing again in Alaska for the Gold Kings, the WCHL. Had a good year there. And then lucky for us, he wound up finding his way home to Michigan, got involved in the roller hockey scene. Dumar's Fieldhouse, where he's been, for a big part of his adult life. So what drew you towards the inline hockey side now? Once the ice was kind of over for you, what drew you there?
Yeah, I came back, I think, in 99, and my buddy Mike, again, he kind of said, "Hey, you got to check out this roller hockey," and he was playing with Team Easton at the time. And I really didn't know what he was talking about. And I remember my buddy that I just talked about, Sean Ulrich, had went and had a tryout with the Sacramento River Rats in the RHI and tried to talk me into going, and I wasn't interested. But so my introduction to roller hockey came first time at the field house, just skating with Team Easton. And a great group of guys, great group of hockey players. And it just kind of fell in love with it from there. I started refereeing a little bit on the side to make some money, and they eventually asked me to come on staff and help manage the leagues and the tournaments and stuff like that. And it just kind of grew from there, but fell in love with the sport literally the first time I played it.
That's great. Well, on the State Wars side, Matt wasn't really part of 2005 with us. I think actually the Hull brothers were our directors on paper that first year, Matt. But then in 2006, we came to our senses. We got Matt Cholesky and Coach Z, Dave Zarum on board with us as our state directors. And that first year out in 2006, here you are playing in the 35 and over division. You guys did pretty well. You went 4-0 in the round robin and then 3-0 in the playoffs, defeating Wisconsin, who had won the first year's Peter Dale's Wisconsin team, 4-1 in the final to capture your first 35 and over State Wars championship in 2006. So I know that's Jeff Temple's kids right there with him, probably, who are probably in college now or whatnot.
Yeah.
But that's an awesome pick there. You see Michael on below you, who you were talking about, Coach Z right next to him, the pro, and just a great group of guys right there. And that group went on 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and 2010, 5 straight years of winning the 35 and over top division at State Wars for Michigan, which is real impressive. And then in 2016, they won the 45 and over. But they had a nice little run there with the 35. So, Matt, just talk for a second about that, representing your state and having a chance to play with your buddies, and then obviously being that dynasty for a little bit.
Yeah, that was definitely some fun times. I mean, to be a kid again, right? And as soon as that puck drops in 35 and over, it doesn't, you forget that you're 35. You don't realize you're 35 until like the Monday after the tournament. But and you see your body is all black and blue, and so to have a trophy to go along with it was always nice. But those were just a lot of guys. It's kind of funny that we played together and against each other all growing up. And then roller hockey kind of brought us all back together to form those teams. And then, basically led by, Zaram would usually take the ball and run with it as far as getting everything organized with those teams. And Dave did a great job at doing that. And then, unfortunately at the 45 and over, we just haven't been able to get a consistent turnout of healthy guys and guys able to make the commitment with their families and kids playing and everything else. But we're hoping to get it going again here soon and start our run at some 45 and over championships.
Yeah, we always joke around these older divisions. That these are the divisions start worrying about injuries and who's who's hurt and who's got shoulder surgery and whose arthritis is kicking in and whatnot. It's so funny. But yeah, you guys had a great run. But also that same year, you coached the 1992 team there with your buddy Al, much younger Al Kish, right there. He looks like he's about 17 in that picture.
17 and a few pounds lighter. He looks like.
That 92 team, which was a great team, you guys won 4-0, won the AAA, 2-0. You in the California, you beat in the semifinal, and in the championship, you guys won 5-4 in overtime to win it. Test of memory banks. You remember who scored the game-winning goal in that overtime game that first year for you guys to win the 92s?
Can you pull that team picture up again?
Yeah, hold on.
I'm gonna guess.
I'll pull the picture up.
Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna say Keith Long, maybe.
Well, we got another picture of this. The person who scored the game-winning goal. You took a picture with him actually a few years later, I think in 2010 at State Wars.
Yeah, Jake. Yeah, I had a feeling it might have been Q. Jake Katraki.
Yep.
Which was more of a defensive player, but that's usually who comes through for you for some reason in overtimes, right? Anybody could score the goals, and Jake was a heck of a player. And I can't say I remember the goal itself, but I do remember him being part of the hero at some point back in those days.
Well, the team you beat was Missouri, who wound up being like that pretty dominant team in that division for many years with, Cody Kettler and Kyle Novak and a lot of guys that are playing pro now.
Yeah.
But your MVP, you guys wound up in 06 winning. And then in 2010, the last year of the 92 division, which is, again, I know Kish and Long and all them were dying to win it again before it was over. And just like Joey DiMartino before you had won the 99s his last year, the 92s won their last year in 2010. And Brandon Van Duzen, the goaltender, with 30-plus saves, was the MVP of that championship game, getting shot on all day long by Missouri, and he stood on his head, and you guys wound up winning that game.
Yeah, that's some great memories there. Brandon was a relative newcomer for us, and he ended up making the team and turning some heads for sure. And I don't want to say he was. You got to have a good goal to win one of these tournaments, especially at State Wars. And he kind of came out of nowhere and made the team. And then he, like you said, as the tournament progressed, he just got better and better. And by the end of it, we had so much confidence in him that we'd leave him out to dry a few times, and he'd come through for us.
No, for sure.
Matty, do you remember what happened in 2007 with the 92s?
That's 13 years ago. Again, you guys are talking to the oldest guest you've ever had on the show here. So,
well, I did coach the Missouri team in 2007, and I think we did take on Michigan in the finals, and we did win. So just wanted to give you, I was 1-0.
All coaching.
We went back and forth, like alternating with Missouri. I do remember that for a few years. It was Michigan and Missouri, then Michigan and Missouri, and then I think they kind of
won a couple years straight.
Yeah, exactly. But Kettler and
Novak, Sexton,
Novak. Yeah, they were good friends with the Kish family, right? Who isn't out there in the roller world? And some great relationships formed there for sure, and carried all these years right through to pro leagues. So
that's great. Here is Matty K with a championship.
Yeah.
At State Wars.
I don't remember what year that was.
This was St. Louis.
Yeah, it's St. Peter's, 2012. There's you and Dennis. Getting ready before a big Palma Pro game. So let's talk Palma Pro a little bit here. So, you know, Palma Pro division, you know, the division that everyone wants to win in the pro division, that's the division that I know from talking to you and with your players, you know, you have the same problems as everyone where it's hard to get these guys as they get older to commit to multiple tournaments all summer. But everyone marks down the one tournament, I can only make one. It's going to be the Palma Pro division is the one we want to be at. That's the one everyone wants to win. The Border Cats have been part of the division since we started in 2015. That first year, you guys went 3-1 in the round robin. And I'm looking here, you guys, you know, every game is tough in the round robin. You guys that year defeated RPD, the Alkali team, right up the bat. Beat Bauer Next Gen, your second game. Then you beat the Mudcats. And thinking back, what was crazy was you guys were 3-0. I think the top 1 or 2 seed, and us as a Snipers, we were on the verge. We were 1-2 of not making the playoffs, and we had to play you guys the last game, the undefeated team, and we had to win to get in the playoffs. And you guys were in no matter what. So the pressure was definitely on us, which made it a little easier for us to probably get up for that game. But we wound up winning that game. We squeaked into the playoffs, and then just luck so have it, we had to play each other again the next morning in the playoffs in the quarterfinal. I don't know if you remember that. And I remember we were like, oh my God, we got to beat this team again. And you guys played much better the next morning. And we wound up squeaking out a 4-2 win that year. Do you remember that year at all, that first year?
I think it was. Wasn't it like 12 hours later, we were already playing each other again in the playoff game after playing each other in the round robin?
Yeah.
Right? And then, you know, for a team like the Border Cats, for what we are and what we were even then, we were 3-0, but I don't think that all of a sudden made us a favorite in games 2 and 3 in the first playoff game. Every game we were probably the underdog. So just to win one game in that division and the teams you just rattled off, RPD, Next Gen, Mudcats, I mean, every one of those games, we're putting out everything to come on the top side of those games. And over the course of 3-4 games, wear on you. And, you know, again, for a team like us for the chips to fall into place and to win a pro division, you have to put your A game together and get a lot of bounces and get great goaltending. And for 5-6 games, however many you're going to play, or 7 in some cases, I guess, to win it all. And it, you know, eventually it caught up with us, and you guys took it to us in the playoff game. So.
Yeah, then the next year, 2016, you guys took a little bit of a step back. You struggled a bit, didn't make the playoffs. And then 2017, we were at the Taylor Sportsplex, where we'll be this summer. So home cooking always helps. And that year, you guys went again 3-1 in the round robin, defeating RPD again, 1-0 the first game. Ryan Kitch with the only goal. Then you beat Black Ice. So 2 tough games right off the bat. And Black Ice has always been kind of an Achilles heel for you guys. You guys beat them. Then you beat someone else, lost to the Mudcats, 3-1, got to the playoffs, and again lost that first playoff game to Palma 5-2. And you guys were out. But then the next year, 2018, was a really wild year for you guys. You guys went 1-3 in the round robin, which normally is not getting you into the playoffs in the Palma Pro division. You know, 2-2, you normally have to get in with a tiebreaker. But you guys were 1-3, had a good goal differential. There were a couple teams that struggled that year that didn't win a game, which helped propel you guys. And then quarterfinals, had to play the number 1 seed team, the Snipers, who were in first. You guys were the 8th place team. And I think Greg's got a video of the outcome of that game.
Out high to the inside, Matt White.
They're taking everything low away. The shot's going to have to come from up high.
White, wrist shot, passed up by Strauss. He was in the complete splits. White to the near side.
Shot's going to have to come from up high. They're taking away everything low, it looks like.
Shane Fox, right point, walks to the middle, wrist shot, it's blocked, pops up in the air. Sigmund.
And the Border Cats know that. Under 30 left.
Sigmund down low, Jack Combs to the back door. It's a skate, goes wide. Now Mikowski up the far side. Matt White has a bobbling puck, but he handles it and finds Shane Fox. 20 seconds left. To the far side, Mikowski. After Matt White, shot, blocked, comes to the near side. Shane Fox has it. 14 seconds to go. Fox looks at goal. Down low segment, one-timer saved by Strauss. Kish tries to clear it and hits the side of the net. Jack Combs plays it out high. Shane Fuchs and shoots.
Great block, Siciliano. They're going to win it.
The word will sound. They've done it.
They just won it.
The Mission Power Border Cats with the biggest upset in Palma
That
Pro
is
history.
unheard of. They did it twice now.
The 8th-seeded Mission Power Border Cats defeat the two-time Palma
Biggest
Pro champions.
upset we have seen.
George, I'm looking. I'm trying to find him.
He
I'm
might
not
be in
seeing
the building.
Jesus anywhere.
He might be in the building. Jeff, it happened. Listen, listen. No one gave them credit coming in. And I definitely didn't. But to get the AC and to knock out the snipe, listen, no one can complain about anything in that game. The officiating was great.
You know, Matt, every time I watch that, and I've seen it 100 times, I always think we're going to score at the end of that.
Yeah, it was. I mean, obviously, maybe the highlight of the Border Cats, right? The last 4 or 5 years. And I just remember Siciliano just diving all around, blocking shots, and J-Dog making a couple ridiculous saves. And, you know, maybe somewhere in the back of my mind, I was waiting for it to get tied up as well. But I think with about a minute left, I went, nope, we're gonna hold on and win this. And that was a great memory. The guys were pretty pumped up after that one for sure.
You know, the difference of two benches, that last 45 seconds to you probably felt like an hour, and to me, it felt like it went by in half a second.
Yeah, exactly. Like it always does. That was a heck of a game. Sorry to do that to you, Tim.
You know, I said to Greg afterwards, and it's something I couldn't say to the guys in the locker room, obviously, but, you know, when we lost, you never want to lose. But when I looked over at the bench and I just saw that reaction, because you're just watching the bench, you would think that was a championship game. And the way your guys jumped up, I remember seeing Ryan Lemke jump up and seeing you guys rush out there and how excited and smiles everyone on everyone's face after the game. As just the, you know, tournament director side of things, it just felt really good. You know, it's just seeing how happy it was, and it made us feel pretty good from a State Wars perspective, just realizing how important that division is to everyone when guys are getting that excited over a quarterfinal win. And I remember telling you at the handshake, you know, just at least win this damn thing now. You knocked us out.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I remember you telling me that it was like within 2 minutes, 3 minutes after the game, you had already not gotten over it maybe, but you said you saw Kyle and then Lemke laughing. It just kind of, you put your director face on, and it kind of, you know, showed you why you're doing what you're doing, and yeah, that was kind of a big deal. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, it definitely hurt losing, but I was happy for you guys because, you know, to really slay the dragon, right? And you guys are always neck and neck with us, and there's always good games, and you finally got over that hurdle and took it to us. So that was really cool to see. You know, unfortunately, I was on the losing side, but I was happy for you though, Maddie.
Now, I know you guys were genuinely, right? Once you get out of the locker room and put your street clothes on, you guys were always very genuine and classy. And I think even my players, we were the same way. Not that I have any dislike toward any of the pro teams, but we kind of always agreed as we sat there watching semifinals and finals that we were not a part of. You know, we kind of always liked the way you guys carried yourselves on and off the floor, your whole team, not just you two guys, of course, but they obviously took lead from their coach and you. And, you know, so you guys were always one of our teams we rooted for once we were out.
You know, it's funny, Matt, before you came on, we've been talking a lot about that Last Dance documentary going on with the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. I'm not sure if you've checked it out yet.
I haven't.
No? Okay. Well, last night's episode, they show how they were battling with the Detroit Pistons, you know, in the early 90s there for a while when the Pistons were their best. And, you know, the Pistons had knocked them out of the playoffs 2 years in a row, and Pistons were obviously a very physical and arguably dirty team that, you know, that's how the game was played. And when the Bulls beat them after the third time, the Pistons, you know, all their starters were on the bench at the end. And with 7 seconds left in the game before it ended, they all just walked off the court and didn't shake hands with the Bulls. And Isaiah Thomas tried to justify it as, that's how we did it back then and blah, blah, blah. And it just bothered me watching that. And Michael Jordan, they played for him now, the video of Isaiah saying that now. And you could tell there's no love lost there. And Michael Jordan just said, hey, rewind the tape and look when they beat us the last time. I'm on the court shaking everyone's hands, So for them to do that to us and not be able to shake hands is total disrespect, And I agree with that. It's always about how you carry yourself. It's easy to be a nice guy and carry yourself well when you win, but you got to be a good person and carry yourself well in defeat too. It's just like we talk about with people complaining at a tournament. It's easy to compliment and be nice when you're winning, but when things don't go your way all the time, how does a person carry themselves? I'm sure you see that every day at the rink working there. We try to be classy, and you guys are a class group, and you guys deserve that win more than anyone.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I remember those Pistons years back then, and even now it's talked about every now and then, and they always talk about when the Pistons walked off the court there, and how it's still, some of them are happy that it still bugs the Chicago Bulls to this day, that 30 years later they're still talking about it. And I don't know how to feel about that. I'm sure there was a lot of hidden things behind the scenes that none of us, you and I, can know about. But it definitely didn't look that good, but it was kind of part of the bad boy image they were trying to portray there. And
right. Well, Isaiah Thomas said that the Celtics did that to them when they finally beat the Celtics. So they were just they've learned to be that way,
Right, right.
Jordan wasn't buying it.
They were like the Philadelphia Flyers of the NBA.
Right. They played a physical game. You can go back and watch those games. And, obviously in Detroit, we have actual television shows dedicated to showing, the circle of Bill Lambert's elbow going right into somebody's jaw and Isaiah sticking his knee out on a guy. And it was going both ways, but Detroit was definitely usually setting the tone in that regard.
So overall, Matt, in the Palma Pro Division, you guys have been 10-9 with an overtime loss in round robin play, but 1-4 in the playoffs, which is obviously the most important part. So as a coach, as an organizer, team manager, everything you do for that team, what do you feel is lacking? Like, what do you feel is to get you guys? We had this talk with Joey D about the Roadrunners, and you guys are maybe in a different situation than they are, but what do you feel is missing? Like, what gets you guys? Because you guys are right there also, obviously. You've beaten the Snipers, you've beaten Black Ice, you've beaten RPD, and they're all top 5 teams. So you can do it. It's all about consistency and winning the big ones. So what do you got to do differently, or how can you change that, you think, for the Border Cats?
I think we're there. The last 2 years, I think we had pretty much the same roster. I think last we didn't have Cal and Kafuk, our youngest, one of our better players. And before, when Cal started, you look on the other spectrum, we didn't have Travis Bokina. And Travis, when he came on board, really talk about a locker room guy and after the locker room guy as well, right? And you guys know Travis well, I know. But I think for us, it's just maybe once we finally assembled the team we had the last couple of years, we haven't been able to play a whole lot together. We might have done Narch once and, State Wars every year, but it's just not enough playing together as a team. I'm not going to say we need one more goal scorer. We need better defenseman. We need a 6'4" guy. I mean, who doesn't need all that? I think we have all the pieces now. And now it's just, hopefully we can put 3 or 4 more years together and play in a couple of tournaments a year and try to get on a roll here in one of them, go back-to-back tournaments with the same roster and same chemistry. And I think then we could start beating some of the big boys.
In your eyes, what makes the Palma Pro Invitational so tough? I mean, what makes it so different and tough?
Sometimes when I think about that, if you look at the stats, right, in any youth division in roller hockey, and at the end of a round robin, you'll see that kid with 27 goals and 3 assists and averaging 6 points a game. And if you go to the Palma Pro, I bet you look at the scoring leaders, I bet you there's a player or two every year that averages over 2, maybe even 3 points. And then you just look, and every single player's got a point a game, or there's guys that might not in any given tournament. But every single player out there is just the top player in their area on the, in their market. And then you got 10 of them all on one team, or 12 of them all on one team in most cases now. And again, I'm using the Border Cats as an example. When my 4 guys go out, there's a good chance that they're out there against 4 guys that played on Team USA, from your guys or black guys or RPD, wherever they're from. And that's why I have so much respect for my guys, is they're going up against the best every single shift. And the talent, the depth on every team, I think, is what makes Palma Pro just so unbelievable. And to win it, it's just like the NHL. To win a Stanley Cup's the hardest trophy to win. Palma Pro, to put 7 games together and have everything go right, that's really saying something,
Well, you think about that Sunday in 2018 when you beat us. You knock us off for the quarterfinal, and you're thinking, all right, I can catch my breath now. And then you go, oh my God, I got to play Mission Black Ice in a couple hours.
Yeah, there's no time to celebrate.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to win those 3 games that last day for sure.
Yeah.
So what we got next here, GT? Then we got a couple nice little gifts from Matt here. What else we got?
Yes. Some Nashville picks.
So every year, for the last couple of years, our Nashville tryout, which is one of our favorite trips each year, Greg, myself, and Matt's come out and been nice enough to come away and run the tryouts with us, have his expertise on the floor. We've obviously had some fun together. Here's Matt at the the Johnny Cash Museum, or where we were for this one.
Yeah, I can't remember that one there, but I do remember it. I know right where you guys are standing out in the crowd there. I think I just ran up there just to get a stupid photo.
Yeah, that was next to the stadium in the where the Sirius XM is. Where the highway is. I think that was downstairs.
Right. I remember playing a little hockey outside of the Predators were in the playoffs. I remember Greg and I jumped in playing a little street hockey on the court there with a couple guys that were pretty into it. I remember.
Yeah.
We schooled them though pretty good.
Yeah, outside the arena there, where the Bridgestone Arena, the Predators were playing in the playoffs against the Sharks that year, and they set up in a little outside hockey rink, and Pecorine happened to be out there in the crowd challenging Matt and GT to a little game 1-on-2. I don't think he realized he had 2 Captain USAs from the Masters team and from the past World Championship USA team on the other side here. This guy had no idea.
Sticks.
Yes, there is.
Where? Oh, okay.
My two favorite parts of that video, Matt, are one, when you give the guy the butt and you kind of almost like knock him off his feet, and then when he scores on you at the end, I knew that ruined your day for like the next couple hours that you gave up a goal at the end there. So
that was hysterical. Oh,
I had to have an extra shot across the street there at Tootsie's after that 5-hole goal there. I had to body up on him. He was coming hard. They had body check on me. I remember that guy too.
I don't think he knew what he was getting himself into.
Yeah.
Hopefully when all this is over, we get our Nashville trip back together. That's always a highlight of my year, is us getting to hang out in Nashville and spending some time away from the hockey rink and just having some fun.
Yeah, and then heading into Detroit to start the Detroit tryouts usually.
Correct.
Who are these 2 bozos?
So here's an old one with two of the best ever to play the game from your area. It's Tyler Spezia and Brandon Hawkins. We've both been State Wars Michigan kids. One's a 93, one's a 94 since they're little. And actually Tyler Spezia is going to be on the show on Thursday. But here's 2 guys, and obviously you meant a lot to them as a mentor over the years and a coach.
Yeah, those guys, I mean, when you think of roller hockey in Detroit, and I would imagine most people from outside of Detroit, those are the 2, I call them kids, but now they're in their 20s, right? But Tyler Spezia and Brandon Hawkins, I mean, just they grew up at the field house, and I grew up, playing for me, and just two great human beings, right? Both that trying to find their way. They're both having pretty good pro, minor hockey pro experiences right now and going through some of the same things I did way back in the day. And they're growing up every day, I think, and learning lessons every day. But those two will be fond memories that I'll have from roller hockey for the rest of my life, Tyler and Brandon, for sure.
Now, Matt, even as we're older, we get to have some fun, so last couple of years, you got to play with the Masters team in a tournament representing Team USA. You got to captain the team. You guys went to Italy with your group, and here's a good picture of you with some of your Michigan boys here. So real quickly, I mean, how fun was that to be able to, at this age now, to be able to go away, represent USA, have some fun, play for Team USA, but most importantly, get to share it with some of your besties?
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better situation, starting with the fact that we're, well, you guys don't know my age, I guess, but I'm a 66, and to be able to still play the game at a decent level, like with other guys that are also very good hockey players, and then, just to go to State Wars and play in a 45 and over tournament is a big honor and a big thrill that we're still doing it. But then you're going to tell me I get to travel to Italy or Czech Republic or wherever we go and play in a 45 and over, or the younger division is 38 and over, and represent USA and be able to put on USA, jerseys and T-shirts and shorts, and you're like a little kid again. And again, when the puck drops, forget about your age. You're playing a hockey game, and you're just doing everything you can. And but yeah, to be able to, and then on top of all that, to throw in the fact that there's a handful of Michigan guys on there. Zarum the first year that we did all the work together in Detroit for State Wars in Michigan, and we're friends, forever in the roller hockey world, but played against each other in ice. Now we're in Italy together, hanging out, playing for Team USA. And one of my best friends, Mike Lalonde, and then Jamie Smith and Botsford. I mean, just, you can't ask for a better situation. Just a lot of fun.
That's great. And for the record, you don't look 66, man. You don't look a day over 65.
I'm born in 66.
Oh,
right?
Born in 66.
Yeah, everything's birth year, right?
That's right.
92
Come on, Tim, 66.
53 years old, boys. 53.
I already did the math.
So, Matt, I got a couple questions for you here. I'm gonna put you on the spot with a few questions. So, out of all the players you've coached in all your years with the Border Cats, $1 million game, one goalie, two forwards, 2D on the floor in their prime. You can pick any player you've ever coached on that team. Who's on your team for $1 million?
For $1 million, and it's coming from my team?
Yes.
Or anybody?
From your team.
For my team, well, I'm going with Jason Strauss in net. Chucky's amazing goalie, but Jason's been our guy. Obviously, in defense, I think it's a little easier. I'll go with Ryan Kish, and our relatively new guy, Brendan Baumgartner. And then forwards a little tougher if I have to leave Cal out, Kafuk there, because he's only played a year, basically. Kyle Siciliano, Ryan Lemke. That would be my four.
Maddie, you're cheating. You wrote that down. I see the notes.
I've watched almost every podcast, so I knew the question might be coming.
And he also knows who would kill him if he didn't mention them on the thing. So
yeah, right.
Who's the best locker room guy you've ever coached?
At the pro level?
Yes.
Jeez. I try to stay out of the locker room. There's a lot of stuff I don't like to hear in there if I got to go out and coach later. They all keep pretty quiet. Like I said, but when Bokina came on board, I think he became one of our locker room guys. Siciliano, I think, is our silent captain. And when he talks, it usually is pretty meaningful. And you can see the guys, listening a little bit more intently when he speaks. But
what about Fonzie? How was Fonzie?
I was going to ask about Weston.
How was Fonzie in the locker room?
Fonzie, he was a pleasant distraction, right? To lighten things up, we'd have Weston in there, and
during this quarantine, I might need a fresh boy when this is all over. That's for sure.
Fresh boy. Yeah, he was outside of Governor Whitmer's house there last week. He's all over the place with the Fresh Boy Nation, right? Weston Arch. But yeah, he's a locker room guy. I mean, that guy's important too in the locker room, right? To keep everybody light and laughing, and everybody knows their job by the time you're playing pro and heading out to a round robin game, you don't need any speeches to get fired up. Everybody fires themselves up.
Now, when you watch the Palmer Pro Division, Matt, if there's one player in the entire Palmer Pro Division that you'd say, I'd buy a ticket to watch that guy play, who are you most impressed with watching overall in that division?
Yeah, I'll say the obvious choice and probably the guy that everybody has been saying, but there's so many. There's so many guys. The guy you had on first, DiMartino, unbelievable. But Travis Noe, right? He's just has a bigger impact on the game than any other player in my eyes. And if you say I got to throw out 2 forwards, 2D, I'll just put him as a forward or a D. It doesn't matter. He's just that dominant, right, in my eyes.
Now, you've always been a good sharpshooter yourself. I mean, whose shot do you look at and go, is it Brandon Hawkins? I mean, who do you watch shoot and go, wow, that's just another level of a shooter? I mean, who's that guy to you when you watch the Pro Division?
Well, Hawkins for sure, right? Brandon was working on his shot from the age of 3 on up, out on the floors of Dumars. But I don't even know if you can teach what he's doing and how he shoots the puck. But Kraft is another one. Matt White is another one. And my team, Lemke's pretty deadly when he's on. Ryan sometimes doesn't look at himself as such a good player, where if he was more confident in himself, he'd probably score even more goals. But he can pretty much hit any corner at any time.
Yeah, he's been he's someone I like to have on the show down the road. I was looking one day at his stats, all the years he's played at State Wars. He was a phenomenal player every year. Team America player many times with his birth year.
Yeah.
Just an awesome player. So it comes to music, Matt, country or hip hop?
All country for sure, but I don't mind some hip hop every now and then.
Okay. Who's your favorite James Bond?
I'm gonna go with Sean Connery, I guess.
Okay.
Love the Bond movies though.
I know we talk about Cheers a lot. I always think of Cheers when I think of the Dumars bar. Are you more of who's your more favorite character on that show? Were you more of a Woody guy or Coach?
Oh, I liked Coach, but I was a Woody guy.
Okay. Sport court or roll on?
Roll on. Come on. That's not even sport court for sure.
Sport court. Okay. Are you more of a Mac or PC guy?
Yeah. you guys know the answer to that. PC. But I can figure a Mac out eventually.
Right. Beatles or Led Zeppelin?
Oh, wow. I probably have every Beatles song recorded on my phone. So I'll go with Beatles, but I like some Zeppelin.
Youngblood or Miracle?
Miracle. I think I've watched it about 56 times now.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Top Gun. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan.
Favorite band, album?
Favorite band. I'm a Bruce Springsteen, any one of his albums.
Okay. Sticky buns or ring dings?
What was the options? Oh, there it is.
I know Matt loves a good sticky buns. That's an old inside joke from our California Winter Wars West trip.
Sticky bun.
All right. Talking about Dumars real quick. So, Matt, you worked at Dumars. What year did you start at Dumars?
It was 2000, 99, 2000, right around there.
So you were there for 20 years plus. Unfortunately, recently, Dumars Fieldhouse closed down. With this whole quarantine, there's a million issues going on with businesses and who can keep businesses going and afloat or whatnot. And for whatever financial reasons, the owners of the building have decided not to open it up right now, which is unfortunate for Michigan hockey and whatnot. Greg had put a picture up there of when we think of Dumars, we think of the people always. And, me, I've always been good at remembering people's names there and talking to people. And this one picture is a group there. You got Wes and you got Evil and John and Chad and you. It's such a family environment. And it's meant so much to so many people. So without having to, get into too much detail, do you have plans in the future? Like, are you hoping to get something going and keep the roller hockey going out there? Or what are your thoughts?
I don't have any immediate plans. There's a few things in the works to try to get back into the field house. If not the field house, there's just a couple sticking points. But there's a group that's kind of looking at it and weighing our options. And, you know, these uncertain times aren't helping the situation, put it that way, to make somebody really want to invest a bunch of money. You know, I have a handful of more that are comfortable probably putting some money at a new business, but they're just not sure. And maybe their own businesses are suffering a little bit right now.
Right.
So to do anything short term is kind of tough, right? To ask somebody to write a check for on top of what they're already, you know, facing with COVID and all that. But there's no plans in place really. I'm sure something is going to happen eventually. It's going to have to, because there's just way too many roller hockey players in the area. So something will come out of this, I'm sure.
Awesome.
Hopefully, maybe back at the field house. You never know.
Okay. Well, we definitely hope so.
Yeah. There he is.
Weston, look at the camera.
There's Weston again with his fresh boy with Travis Bocchino, who Matt had spoken about, who's another great guy for the sport and was definitely a leader that Matt had brought on a few years ago to help with some of the younger guys on his team, and done very well for you guys.
Yeah, Travis, great guy. We're happy to have him. He'll call me a few times every few months just to make sure he's still on the radar and going to be involved. And Bocchino, if you're listening, yes, you're involved again this year if we get it together in Taylor. So hopefully you haven't put on 25 pounds and you're ready to go.
Yeah, the one thing about Travis, he constantly needs reassurance. That's for sure. That's just Travis for you.
Little pat on the head.
Travis, I think it was Travis. Was it last year? We're up by 2 or 3 goals in the one game there, and Travis loves to be the guy to go out and take a face-off, which I happen to love a lot. I love a guy to say, Matt, I can get that draw. And he went out there. God, was it Travis? I'm pretty sure it was Travis. He went out there, took the draw, and I think he lost it, but it went back to the point, and the shot came and got deflected and caught him above the eye.
That was against he got hit in our game when we played you guys actually last year.
Yeah, he wanted that face off, and I was like, "Go get it." He more than he bargained for, I think.
Nah, it's so funny. Well, Matt, you know, obviously this summer State Wars plans to be held at the Taylor Sportsplex in Michigan. You know, obviously our goal is to have the tournament this summer. There's a lot of, obviously, like you mentioned, you know, things going on in the world with the COVID situation, that there's a lot of uncertainty with everyone right now, but hopefully we'll get things going. You know, things are, you know, moving in the right direction, I think, in the world in general here. We're getting a lot of interest still, a lot of people contacting us. We actually have teams still signing up and whatnot. And, you know, hopefully for sure, you know, no matter what we have to do, even if we talked about maybe sliding our dates back into August a little bit for State Wars. But obviously the goal is to be there, and we're always excited to be back to Michigan, and obviously you'll be a big part of that. But we're definitely hoping to see you and your groups in Taylor Sportsplex for the not only the Prima Pro Invitational, but just for State Wars in general this summer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm pretty sure, God willing here, that my plan is to at least organize a team in every birth year for the kids. A lot of the Border Cat kids and their friends, and any players out there. Doesn't have to be a Border Cat still, right? But the good thing about this year, one of the positives that come from it, is anybody can put a team into any age group. So I've had a few calls from some ice hockey coaches out there asking how they get their own kid on the team, and I'm kind of explaining that they can put their own team together. So there's some people getting fired up, I think, and you might see in some divisions, you might see even more Michigan players playing.
Yep.
Hopefully. So
I know Matt Mosley actually wrote me an email the other day. He's interested in bringing his ice team in, so that should be pretty cool too.
Yeah, that'll be a good group. And there's some Honey Baked teams and some Grizzlies teams.
Yep.
I got a lot of the Oakland Junior Grizzlies in the Border Cats organization. So, you know, I'm going to be building some teams, and basically I'm going to be getting some emails out, and I'm going to somewhat do a virtual tryout kind of. I mean, if I get 20, 08 emails, I'm going to pick the 10 that I think I know, obviously, or 8 kids that I know, and put a team together, and maybe even a second team to play in single A or double A, and go from there. But I'm sure there's going to be other teams from Metro Detroit as well.
People will be itching to be playing by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we expect it to be an amazing tournament, Matt. Don't worry about that. It'll be good.
Taylor's going to be amazing this year. A lot of amazing players will be out there for sure.
100%, 100%. Well, always great catching up with you, Matt. Matt is truly one of our best buds in the sport. We appreciate all that you do, Matt, locally in Michigan with State Wars and with everything with us, tryouts, things you help out with. You're definitely one of the great people in the game. And we definitely look forward to seeing you this summer at the Taylor Sportsplex and following up more with you about Team Michigan.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You guys are doing a great job with these podcasts. It's not a favorite thing of mine to do, right? And on video calls and being interviewed and stuff like that. But you guys are doing a great job. I enjoy watching them. I got to go back and watch a couple of the other episodes that I missed, but I've watched most of them. So keep up the good work. Stay safe. And
Maddie, any shout outs?
Yeah,
anyone watching?
I don't have kids of my own, but I like to say I lease my kids with an option to buy, right? I coach them up for a game or a tournament, and then I send them on their way. So shout out to all my Border Cat players and parents and all my pro guys. Hopefully they're staying in shape and going to be ready to rock and roll at the end of July or 1st of August, whenever the tournament starts. And
Coach Carver?
That's about it. What's that?
Coach Carver?
Joe Carver. Yeah, I miss that guy. Actually got to see him yesterday delivering some wheels out to him. But awesome. Him and Dave Vance, they miss all the roller hockey guys, great guys, right? So miss all those guys. And yeah, that's about it.
Sweet.
I'm just trying to wonder how many dirty dishes Matt has on the floor right now that he took off that counter behind him, that just to make it look so neat.
None.
A lot of sticky buns for
Christine
sure.
runs a tight house. I got dishes are my responsibility. I get rid of the sticky buns in the outdoor trash so she can't see the wrappers.
She's used to be in that surgical room where everything's got to be clean, So it looks like a surgical room right there, right? Actually,
right.
By plastic all around the walls on the other sides. But now, Matt, seriously though, we thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon, bud. All right.
All right, man. Take it
Thanks,
easy,
Maddie.
guys.
Take
Have
care.
a good
All
one.
right.
Bye.
Take care, buddy. All right, that was Matt Cholesky joining us here. Just another great person. I know you sound like a broken record, Greg, with this stuff, but obviously we wouldn't be having people on here if we didn't think the world of them. But two of the best state directors we could ask for, in Dan Costanza and Matt Cholesky. Matt's been with us from the beginning. Dan, more recent, 2015, started coaching with us after years of playing. Has done wonders in Illinois. I mean, he may have done more good in his state in those last 5 years than anyone has done anywhere. It's incredible how many players he's gotten playing the game. And it always helps when you have that credibility with the ice and the roller people together, and people see his kids play and he coaches ice, gets involved. So he's doing some great things. Matt obviously has always been a staple in Michigan.
The Godfather, I call him. The Godfather of Michigan roller hockey.
Oh, 100%. Him and Dave Zarin, they'll get Dave on, I'm sure, in a future one. They started out with us, done so much in Michigan, and with Matt being at the rink all this time, it's easy for him to carry on that torch a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
We start out with the Magic Mullet, Joey D, who's one of the best young players in the game. You can make an argument of 5 years from now, he might be the Travis Snow of the division. He's just that good. He could do it all, and just such a great kid. And it was really awesome having him on as well.
Yeah, like you said, he plays like majority of the game. I don't know how he does it. I don't think I could ever do that when I was his age. And he goes a lot faster than I did, that's for sure. But he's awesome defensively. He scores timely goals, and he's such a good kid. I mean, it's awesome to see him grow up and become the player he's become.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we're finishing here. State Wars Hockey Podcast number 7, brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. We want to thank everyone for tuning in. We've been getting tons of viewerships, a lot of good feedback. Keep bringing it. Keep telling people about this podcast. We're working hard for you guys, trying to add a little entertainment to your day. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it and maybe learn a little bit too, hearing some old stories. But definitely pass the word on about this podcast. I'm Tim McManus signing out with GT, and we wish you guys just a happy Tuesday.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Cavaya, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors: Mission Bauer, Tour, Alkali, La Beta, Rink Rat, Conix, Warrior, Monkey Sports, Yord Watches, Car Shield, Rocket Puck, Wraparound, and Top Shelf Targets. We look forward to seeing you all on the rink soon.